Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to tradertv.live. North American stock futures, little change to kick off the new trading week this morning as we're coming off more record highs last week. We ended the week on a really positive note. If you remember, on Friday, bouncing back from Thursday's sell-off in a big way. Roughly 1/3 of the S&P 500 set to report earnings coming up this week. Big week for earnings. Some of the largest companies included in that. We'll get Apple, we'll get Microsoft, Amazon, Alphabet, AMD, some of the chip makers as well coming through. Tesla will kick things off after market tonight. So we're going to have a look at Tesla shares slightly lower here in the pre-market so far this morning. Markets rebounded Friday following the sell-off, as I mentioned on Thursday, that came after Joe Biden announced the possibility of a 43.4% capital gains tax coming to wealthy individuals. That's never going to pass, obviously, but we'll get some sort of bill adjusted from that out of that announcement from Thursday. Bitcoin bouncing back this morning as well, up about 8% here off the lows after last week's sell-off. It's Monday, April 26, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. There we go. Look at North American markets at this point. You can see, as I mentioned, pretty flat to kick things off. The Dow 0.15, S&P basically unchanged. NASDAQ a little bit negative at this point. TSX futures a little bit negative at this point as well, about 0.25%. Yeah, 6.5% now for Bitcoin. That's off of the highs that we saw from overnight, but a nice bounce back to start the week. Both crude oil and gold in negative territory to start the week as well. Good morning, guys. It is Monday, brand new week. Lots to get to this morning. We have earnings, and more earnings coming through this week. It's going to be that week. All the tech names. We get Tesla today. Where do we want to begin?
Well, I mean, we can start by saying welcome to what will be the big week. I mean, you get the Fed, which, I don't know, I guess they're not going to be as front and center as they used to be. A couple of days worth of meetings there. Obviously, you had one of the FANG names disappoint with Netflix, and I kind of feel like apparently they did well last night. I didn't watch. For any of those that did, movie suggestions, I need them because I don't watch much anymore. But the rest of the names are going to come through, and they're likely going to beat them up. I just want to point out here, I mentioned this one in the chat here, guys. PFPT. There was a bit of deal-making news here, and I think the interesting thing will be with proof points, like $12.3 billion deal. Some of the cybersecurity names are up in sympathy with regards to that. So let's have a watch at this. I don't think the actual, it just unhalted and hasn't done any volume, and it's an all-cash deal, so I'm not sure it's going to be too tradable itself, but one to watch some of those cybersecurity names. But this week, earnings, and more earnings. You can pick your flavor. Everyone's interested in Tesla. There's a few this week that are interesting to me. I mean, I'm going to be watching Caterpillar, see how some of those cyclical names do as well. It's not just about tech, but I know that's the headliner, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, I think the headliner today is going to be MindMed again, guys. Like, first of all, we have a big announcement regarding these guys, but first of all, if you guys, welcome, by the way. I hope everyone had a good weekend. It's going to be a big day. We're really super excited. This is probably, I mean, one of my favorite weeks of the year as we go. It happens 4 times a year, so we can't call it that. But the biggest tech earnings, Tesla tonight, AMD tomorrow night, which I think is going to be a home run. But okay, so I just want to talk about MindMed. We were talking about it on Friday. Remember I was saying break 350, break 350? Like we wanted this thing to break 350 on Friday. It never really did. Trade here. It did, but it only went to like 358 or 54, 53. That was Friday. Today you're going to be opening up at 470 something here on MindMed. So I mean, it's an unbelievable run here for MMEDF. It just continues to go. This is a 1-minute chart. On the daily chart, look at this bump up here. Up. I mean, we're probably going to take out. We'll probably take out all-time highs today, and of course on an up list tomorrow, I guess, the 27th. So I'm super excited to look at MindMed today, try to trade a little bit of this name. I traded it on Friday, not aggressively enough. We'll look to get in and out of MindMed today. Also MMED on the NEO exchange. But wow, it's funny. We don't normally talk about these micro caps when it comes in, but this did a lot of volume on Friday. followed by, of course, the uplist tomorrow. So congratulations, anybody that's been with us since MindMed. We did have these guys on, Brendan, as you know, back September way when they were 30, 40, 50 cents a share and IPOing on the NEO exchange. So very, very impressive day and start for them to the week.
Yeah, it's been quite the journey. MNMD coming to the NASDAQ tomorrow. We had both Kevin O'Leary and J.R. Ron sitting right here beside me at the desk here, going back a little over a year at this point. They both, Sean mentioned briefly there, they both will be joining us tomorrow for the uplist. So come back tomorrow and check it out when MindMed gets uplisted to the NASDAQ. It'll be a big deal. Let's get over to the desk to kick things off and say good morning to Miss V.
Good morning and happy Monday, everyone. I hope this week will bring you lots of profitable trading opportunities. And please support the community, like this video, and subscribe to our channel. Let's get it started, Brendan.
Yes, let's indeed get it started, guys. Lots to get through. I just noticed American Airlines just popping up here. I was double checking to see if there was a positive note on bookings increasing over the next couple of months. There was a couple of price target cuts, in fact. Berenberg actually raising a price target, but Jeffries here, price target cut. But I just noticed AAL up about 2% in the pre-market here. But lots to get through this morning in the next hour or so before we get the markets open. Let's jump into Netflix to kick things off. Neil, you mentioned it there. Anyone who watched the quote-unquote Oscars last night, it was kind of bizarro world Oscars. I kind of found it very out of the ordinary. I mean, it's been an out of the ordinary kind of year, but a very strange Oscars. Netflix, though, cleaning up with a whole bunch of awards going to them. Is this going to be, you know, a market-moving kind of event for Netflix today?
I tend not to think so. I mean, the bigger problem is you're going to have all of tech come through. Well, you're going to have a lot of the bigger tech names coming through this week and likely to pull some strong earnings. And, you know, when Netflix had that disappointment, you did see it at least rebound to get back to that 500 level. But, you know, I kind of feel like the money's going to go into some other places this week if we can't hold that. I'm back on watch of that 500. I mean, you know, there was a little bit of a bounce that initially happened, and you're like, okay, well, you try to get up to that 515 level. I'm like, if we can open the week testing that, you see some strength, but sort of the reverse. So 500 is back on watch with Netflix. It's definitely it's a great sign for them content-wise, what they've been able to do in terms of garnering a more critical, I guess, acclaim, and that'll probably draw more producers and I guess bigger names to the platform in the future when it comes to producing content. I mean, it's not affecting the stock price right now, and everyone's focused on the earnings and where else they can put their money. And Netflix is the fang that's getting left behind.
I mean, Netflix is one of the most. I mean, it's truly an amazing story. It needs to be bought. I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at MVIS. I'm trying to get the sticky note out here, which I know you guys want. So, yeah, no, it's just their report, their earnings report, I think was wrong. They didn't deserve to get hit like this all the way down here. Any congratulations, anybody that bought this in the 480s. If you're lucky enough to get somewhere down there, that's a fantastic bid. I agree. I don't think the earnings or the Oscars has anything to do with anything. I realized they were on last night, but it was way too late to have a look at them. But I don't know. I guess Nomadland, is that a Netflix one there, Brendan? What did they exactly clean up on?
Apparently, I was just reading a headline this morning that they won 2 times as many awards as they have in the past. So I guess the competition wasn't exactly the highest over the last 12 months as far as movies are concerned. There wasn't a lot created, but we'll have a look at Netflix today, see how that reacts. Let's bring in Mark Roberts here, president of Sun Lake Strategies, get his take on a brand new trading week and a brand new trading Monday. Good morning, Mark. Hope you had a nice weekend. An interesting start to another week here. I mean, over the past couple of weeks, we've been kind of talking about it's like hurry up and wait for something to kind of move this market again. This is the week when we get all of the big reports coming through. What's your take to start things off?
It's definitely going to be a tech week. There's 173 companies this week and 133 next week. These are the big 2 weeks. Proofpoint was acquired this morning for $176. That whole infrastructure software from PANW to FEYE should be under scrutiny, and I would imagine you'll see incredible volume in many of these stocks. So I'm bullish going into this week.
It's interesting. Anytime you get a deal announced, typically on a Monday, it seems, that's not really expected or hasn't really been talked about leading up to the actual announcement, we get, instantly everyone kind of focusing on that area of the overall market. Of the rest, you mentioned a couple there. FireEye, an interesting one if you have a look at from a technical aspect, still very strong.
Yeah, I think you have to look into these names. Automation and robotics comes and goes as far as a major theme within the market. I think going into the rest of the year, this is going to be a major piece to the puzzle as we come out of this pandemic, and a lot of people are trying to figure out with their global companies, can they start to branch out and do more automation and more robotics? I think the answer is a strong yes.
Is there more catalyst, I guess, to some of this M&A activity that's coming through in the past couple of weeks because of where the market is overall in this kind of consolidation period? We're kind of grinding to the upside, obviously. New records on Friday once again. Is there more catalyst though for more of these types of deals to pop up?
If you believe that the economy is going to continue to grow, rates will rise. A number of major corporations have floated bonds in Europe and Asia. I would think that will continue. This is the time you want to raise money. This is the time you want to pick up what you can before everything starts to come back much more aggressively than now.
I want to get your take on some of this vaccine news we have to deal with this morning. There's multiple different kind of angles to this. AstraZeneca, the latest, the EU coming out suing AstraZeneca for missing delivery targets, I guess, both on the quantity and date side of things. But then there's a little bit of a news story regarding Moderna as well. Is it getting to a point where the market's just kind of sick of hearing all of this and kind of wishes it would just get on with it?
I wish that was the case. Friends of mine in India, where I'm hearing, as far as being boots on the ground, it's a disaster. They can't get enough equipment. It's an ugly picture. Germany and Tokyo and Japan, these places are still going through lockdowns. The answer is no. It's here at least through the summer. After that, I would imagine you'll get much more herd immunity in the U.S. I would imagine AstraZeneca's first shot that many took but would not take another shot. You'll probably have Pfizer stepping in. And then we have the booster to worry about. 6 months after, 8 months after you've had your second shot, you've got to start thinking of your booster. So we're going to go right into September, October, a flu season here, worrying about a booster and also a flu shot.
From a company standpoint, though, when it comes to some of these headlines that it seems are just coming on a daily basis at this point, is there a way to approach this as far as, a short-term trade or even, on an investing type of mind frame?
The answer is not really. What you're going to look for is a market sell-off or market consolidation later in the late spring, very beginning of the early summer, if I'm correct. And that's where you'll pick up the stocks that you want to own.
We saw big moves in some of the EV space last week, some of the smaller ones back to life. Fisker, we talked about almost on a daily basis. It's Tesla Day coming up aftermarket, as we said, earnings tonight. How are you going to approach Tesla today?
It's very interesting. It's a kind of thing where I've played it through the ARK ETF. I've stayed away from buying the stock directly. There's a few other ways you can do it. There's clean ETFs to play. But in the end result, Tesla, if you look at where it was at the end of the year versus where it is now, it's only up 3.5%. It's been a deep underperformer in the clean tech space.
Hi, Mark. First of all, happy Monday. Glad to have you back here. We can talk about Tesla, and there's a lot of earnings maybe to get your thoughts on. And I'm going to have you pick one that piques your interest on the week. But I kind of wanted to talk about a gaming name here, if I could. and just Activision, they picked up an upgrade today. I've been looking at this stock, and I think you've talked about it in the past here, sort of lulling itself to, not to sleep, but we're hanging out on some highs, finding a little bit of support here. And when you think about the whole aspect of everyone was staying at home, and this was an at-home play, that gaming was going to boom, what kind of staying power do you feel is going to be in a name like this? It might not be front and center this week, but they just got a really solid upgrade. It's a name I've never gotten involved in. I'm kind of saying to myself, like, how do you get more involved in the gaming? I don't play games myself, and that's part of the problem. But what are your thoughts on Activision, if I can get any?
Well, here's an odd one. I've owned this over the last 4 years, so I have a very, very low cost. I've made sales as it's failed a number of times at that 100 area. That seems to be its problem. I'm sure that the earnings will be satisfactory. Will they be stellar? It's hard to say considering the way the stock has been performing, certainly since February. So I'm going to go with a bet that the earnings are lackluster and you'll see some weakness. From a trading point of view, find the clusters and they rest around 90, 89 until those earnings. Just trade it from the low end to the high end.
Okay, yeah, certainly. I think that makes a lot of sense, and interesting that you're in that Activision. I know you've talked about it before. Certainly, I just wanted to get your thoughts because we can talk a little bit about the FANG stocks, and maybe if you have one that you wanted to pick. But I don't know if you're listening in. We're talking a little bit about Netflix in particular, just relative to the other. If I can, just relative to the other FANG names here. Now, obviously, successful company. It's been a fantastic story. What type of an impact do you see strong earnings across the board in tech having a negative impact on maybe Netflix price this week? Is this kind of one of those things where if you like this company, this is where you throw it a bid because everyone else's strength could be their weakness this week, especially given what we saw with the disappointment in some of their metrics. Just your take on that, and then maybe which tech name you're looking the most forward to this week as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. I look at Netflix very similar to Zoom. Zoom had a great run. It was trading near 500, and if you look at it for the last 2 months, it's just gone sideways. Now, granted, you may pick up 4, 5, 6 points in a trading day, but to me, Netflix is, we'll call it quiet money for the next 2 to 3 months. So I don't see us making huge amounts of money in this stock. Yes, you'll get your quick 4, 5, 6 points in a day or two, so swing traders can make some nice money, but you're taking more risk than you need to. I think Google will be the leader through all of this. They seem to have been as best protected versus Amazon versus Facebook and the rest. They all come back together, but Google definitely is the strongest of the group.
And trying to break through that 2300 again. Of course, my daily chart doesn't want to load completely, but you can see that little top potentially making a bit of a move. Give me your thoughts on before we get you out of here. Give me your thoughts on Caterpillar because, some of these cyclical names we've talked a little bit about here. And yeah, my chart's going to freeze for a second. I wanted to get it up just because it's been having some trouble getting through the top, this sort of 235 area. So you're seeing this consolidation. It's been such a nice upward trend. Is this the time that it finally pulls back and breaks below the 50 period? It hasn't really been doing so. It looks like a good chance that it could give you that kind of breakout to like 235, 236 or so. Caterpillar name I like, of course. But what are your thoughts going into this week on this name? Because it could look like it's getting top heavy, but it also, to me, seems like it's about to break.
Yeah, I picked some up when the market sold off near the end of the year, around that 177 area. I'm staying with it. I think this company should probably surprise to the upside. I think you've got more room to go. For me, I'm a holder long term, And I'm going to say that this stock probably has a 250, 260 area. There's a lot of analysts that are in the 230, 240 area. I think if the earnings are good, they'll be upping their numbers into that 260, 270 area, and that's what I'm looking for.
Excellent, Mark. And of course, we have the Fed coming this week. Just to leave you on one final note, what do you think about the overall market on this week? I mean, you have a lot of earnings that have come through, which would signal strength. Do you expect the Fed to have any sort of play in terms of the direction we go this week, or is this just going to be all about the earnings, and we don't expect to hear anything out of them when it comes from inflation? It'll be all systems go, because we could see some data which might have the inflation talks rearing their ugly head again this week.
Two factors that I think traders have not really focused on. Inflation is here. I mean, let's be realistic. Every consumer company is coming out and saying that there's either a disruption in supply chain, and if it's related to technology, it's chips, and if it's not, it's cost of raw materials. That's a given. How the Fed doesn't see more of that, I think they're not being real. They're going to let the inflation rate stretch out, but that doesn't help the consumer, because the consumer is going to feel it in their pocketbooks if they haven't already. The talk of slowing or tapering bond purchases in the last part of the year, I think is a given as this economy starts to explode to the upside. So I'm looking for the Fed to be less of a help at the end of the year, inflation to be more of a hindrance into the end of the year, and we'll see how the market reacts. Strength in the economy is good. So if traders don't see that that's a potential right now, I think they're not being honest with themselves.
Appreciated, Mark. And there we go. Always good to get your opinion, the stock father himself. We look forward to talking to you on Wednesday next time you're through, and best of luck trading throughout the week. Take care, Mark.
Great, you too. Thanks so much for the time.
All right, guys, let's get some upgrades and downgrades for a Monday morning. COTY, I noticed this morning, up slightly in the pre-market here, but catching multiple price target increases in upgrade. Deutsche Bank, one of those. Wells Fargo on here. JP Morgan also strong. We're going to talk about that. On cryptocurrency front, bets buy on that side to the downside. Nothing else terribly exciting on the downgrade side, guys.
Yeah, just get ready for a big, great talk there with Mark Roberts, a couple of big names there. I'm going to disagree on Caterpillar with him. I think it's a little too high based on some of the Chinese rhetoric and stuff like that coming down. They need some help in China for Caterpillar, but great names there. Activision, yeah, again, I don't know too much about video games. We have a resident video game here. I don't know if he's here today, Rob. We'll ask him about what's going on with Call of Duty and whatnot, if that's even an Activision name. I don't know. Another name, first of all, I just tweeted out, guys, up there, and congratulations to anybody that's been going nuts with crypto lately. A big move back, man. Over 10% right now, Bitcoin on the day. It all depends on what day you're talking about, because our day is different than that day over there in China and whatnot. But this is the look here for BTC, and it's been a little bit of a nasty ride down. This is just a 1 minute. Let's go to a 1 hour. There's a little bit of a better look here for all of us. Over the weekend, man, it just kept getting hit. We went down to 47,000. That's pretty low. Was not expecting that. Was hoping a little bit of a bounce off 50, but I guess that's the bounce. We basically, for some reason, stopped at 47. We can pull the chart out, see if there's any more levels, but there it is, man. 47 bottom to the nose on Kraken anyways. $47,000. Now you rip up to 54,000 basically, and this is a 1 hour. So in the last, let's call it 10, 12 hours, you don't even really have, sure, there are some red candles here. That's just a pause, and then you just keep going upside. So I'm excited today to look at, obviously, some of these crypto names as, we're starting to edge higher and higher and higher right now on BTC. We actually just got above 54,000. The real beast, though, continues to be Ethereum. Ethereum just knocking on doors again of all-time highs. Like all-time high is 26.4. We just touched 25.3 after coming downside, like big time downside over on the week. I mean big time downside. We went right to these levels of 2100 where there was previous support. So good levels there. We're gonna look to pick up. I was buying Ether, the last couple of days. You guys would know that. Like between 22 and 23, I didn't get anything down here 2100, but between 22, 23. So I wake up to again another 10% win. Let alone what Cardano's doing. That's up 20% off of its recent low as well. So congratulations, anybody still buying these coins, and let's just keep on, hitting the cowbell. Look, the day will end, I guess, at some point when Bitcoin begins to fall down and doesn't catch a bottom. But I don't think we're anywhere near those bottoms. Congratulations to you.
All right, speaking of cryptocurrency world, here's another one to add to this seemingly ever-growing list now. Camping World Holdings, guys, with an announcement just coming out here. Now you can buy your RVs and camping gear through BitPay with Bitcoin. So Camping World Holdings, not a lot of volume yet, but just popped up 3% there on that news for all you campers out there. You can now get your camping gear with
that story, Brendan?
Bitcoin at all. What story?
No, I was going to say, in here in Ontario, you can't even book a camping site anymore because they're so restricted right now, and they've actually started. The best production team
that was great.
They started to, anyways, Brendan, they started cracking down on people selling their reservations. But I just want to come, if you guys can come to the screen quickly, I'm going to give a big shout out to Marcus Lemonis, man. He's turned around Camping World. Look at this stock back in March. Like, you want to talk about a COVID winner? I don't know if there's going to be one that's bigger than this that actually makes sense in the way that this one does. Like, they got absolutely destroyed heading down into COVID, obviously, with everybody locked in, locked home. But then if you just sort of unpack, and this is what I mean by, and it's just funny because I've been watching this stock, I'm not in it, but if you sort of unpack what Camping World meant, and then we just talked about what we just mentioned there. What a great move, man. $3 to $45. Anyways, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I read that story over the weekend that all these camping spots are now being sold on Kijiji and all over the place. And then,
you get fined, man.
Yeah, it's got to the point now where people are being fined for selling their camping spots. So shout out to my kids. We're going to go camping.
That's very this era, I guess, of us. Big black market for camping sites these days around here. Let's now have a look at what is coming up in the next 30 minutes, guys. We'll have a look at all the stocks moving around in the pre-market. If you haven't done so, make sure you head over to that website that we already showed you once this morning and sign up for the watch list. If you need it again, Miss V will help you out in the chat. Let's talk about Tesla, guys. The big news, obviously, earnings aftermarket tonight. They also announced plans for a Shanghai factory to repair, reproduce key components to help speed up manufacturing over in China. They're going to spend a bunch of money on that. But yeah, earnings coming. Do we trade Tesla on earnings, guys? Into earnings?
Well, I mean, is it going to move today? I think there's a really solid chance it could. Some of you guys I think there was a question, could NIO move on Tesla earnings? I mean, if Tesla moves going into the day and maybe tests that 750 level, if we look at this 15-minute chart for a second here and test 750, yeah, like maybe you'll see some of the EV space move as well. Tesla's expected to do pretty well when it comes to revenue and earnings. I think the big key is always going to be deliveries. They've been crushing the delivery numbers, even with the slowdown, even with some of the chip issues. I don't think necessarily that the negative press story is going to weigh too hard here. It's going to be all about seeing where they guide with those delivery numbers. If they continue to push, maybe you see Tesla actually break that 750. Now, of course, does that mean it's going to happen going into earnings today? Not necessarily. So I'd be much more inclined to defend than take a breakout going into Tesla earnings. So as much as I like that 750 and I wrote that one down and it might be in play today or tomorrow, I'm also looking back into that little bottom. We had a bit of a sell-off towards the end of the week when we first tried to get back to that 750 number, and that sort of came right back down to that 720 area. So I definitely like any defensive 720 that does come into any weakness today. And then I got like a 750 area for a break. sometimes what will happen on Tesla, you'll get like a first move that doesn't quite test that bottom and then establishes a new low. That's another way I'd be willing to trade it. So if it puts in a low that's higher than that 720 or so, good consolidation, or maybe a good little like dip into the open where you see Tesla do that before it runs, I would like to play off that opening range low as well.
Okay, so I'll take a little bit opposite, man. Like, I think that 750 just needs to be smashed there pretty hard. If it does take out to 750, obviously you have backs, like you can hold it like $10, I think, back to 740, something like that. If you wanted to, you know, if you really thought that there was some kind of chance there, you could go 750. The only reason I think that is that if this is going to be a good week, or anybody knows anything about tech, obviously, you know, Tesla's going to have to start the party off. And I mean, I think their quarter is going to be better than expected. So let's just wait to see what Tesla comes up with here. It's actually now that I look at this actually, and I zoom it back out, it's actually 748. So I think 748, but then the problem is you have that 750 is like a psychological. So I think it's a little bit better to hit the 750. If you do hit that, like I said, the $10 downside, that means you have to have at least $10 upside. So I think you can get to this 760. And then I think after that, the 772. We're not going back too far. Like, this is only April 14th. So let's look to see, obviously, any weakness down here, 7 and change needs to be bought. But if you're going to be investing in Tesla, I would say you could start, if you're just starting or you're looking to put new money to work, I would say you could buy it now, but you do have a big risk, obviously, heading into earnings. I don't recommend putting in, you know, a full position ahead of earnings unless you really believe you know something. But look, Tesla's going to lead the way for Fisker, for Nikola, for basically NIO, for the whole automotive sector, man. Tesla's going to be big for Volkswagen, for Ford. Yeah, exactly, Randy. So let's let the big dog lead here, and I think they do it today with Tesla.
I tend to agree on the better than expected aspect. Today, going into that report, we were out for quite a long walk around the city yesterday, and it seemed like you couldn't not see a Tesla. Every corner we went around, there was another Tesla driving by or sitting at a light or parked on the side of the street. So they are multiplying. Let's bring in Arun here and have a look at the overall market. We'll see what levels we need to be aware of heading into a Monday. Good morning, Arun.
Good morning. Monday, coming off of Friday, that was quite aggressive to the upside, you know, blowing out any shorts that were available. So now here we are, you know, we had 41.85 was the level that I had marked off going back at least a week or so. And we kind of got there, we kind of got past it, but came right back. So that's just that level never really broke. That's just been pushed off a few points. So that now has become 41.90 for me. For 41.90 on the upside, and I've got 41.60 on the downside. Now we are trading just above 70. What I want to see is if we can get underneath 41.70 and set up some sort of a long, then I'll take the long with the 41.60 as the potential trade there. If we can get above 41.75 and set up a short, then I'm open to taking the short with the 41.90 as a stop. And of course, if we break either side. Now, if we break to the downside, I would use 41.90 as a stop. So if we break 41.60, I'd use 41.90 as a stop. If we break to the upside, I want to see what happens. If we get above 41.90, you have to consider now 4,200 is right there. Do I really want to put up 30 points in risk to take a shot at 4,200? I most likely would not take that immediately. I'd want to wait to see how it plays once we break that top. And if we can get some support, then maybe you take that shot. But this week is the week where this market will be moved, because every day from here until Thursday, there is a big market index player reporting, starting today with Tesla. So you have to be aware that this week will be volatile at the end of the day, especially at the end of the day. We don't know how it's going to play throughout the day, but especially at the end of the day, because these index names, these big index names are reporting, and you do have to be aware of that. Keep in mind, stock market closes at 4, futures do not close until 4:15. So there is a 15-minute window where you can potentially make trades on the indexes using the stocks if you choose to go in that direction. But just be aware that there is going to be a lot of volatility towards the end of the day, pretty much every day this week, pretty much until Friday.
Great stuff. Thanks so much, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning as we head towards the open. You can see how Arun had a bit of a smile there. He's looking forward to that volatility, I feel. Let's talk about crypto stocks. We mentioned Bitcoin back to the upside this morning. A lot of these names, and I include coin. I include Tesla even back in positive territory, but there's SI, Riot, Mara, SOS. Where do you guys want to go here?
Man, you really could go anywhere. I'm kicking myself over SI, to be perfectly honest with you. It did get that little dip into that 110. And when you talk about the dip buy mentality, certainly, that works for being a paying spot or whatever it might be. But some of the equities are been solid plays, and I look at the range that's been made in this stock. And certainly, there's been some weakness. Let's be honest. But if you're just talking like a pure swing, in that 110 range on SI, if you say to yourself, okay, it's in trouble if it breaks 100, and you just get out on a swing, that's not a bad idea. Getting in for a longer term as well, not a horrible idea here. I really did think when we started coming back in initially, and it was off that 175 the last time, that you were going to get a much bigger retracement if Bitcoin dropped below 50,000. Like I honestly thought that was going to get into that 70 or 80 range, that you might get a crush down. That didn't happen, so a little stronger than I was anticipating here. And then now you get the bounce back, and Silvergate's only up 4%. So I'm kind of looking at those teens, I guess, like the 110 to 115 as kind of like a new floor, as long as we're still holding up above that 50,000 mark, as long as you're still seeing some rebound overall in the crypto space. But you do have to watch out. I mean, ultimately, you have to have a bit of an out. And if things get super, super weak, and I mean, you're looking back to like a 42,000 support on Bitcoin, that's when you start thinking about the 100 breaking on SI in particular. That's sort of the name that I've been watching today. I know I missed a shot on this one. When it didn't break 110, I thought it was going to break that, give like 7s, 8s, and 9s, and then it literally bounced at 110. I think now you're looking at those teens as a better support area, given that we've already had that 10% bounce back from the bottom.
Okay, Bitcoin, I was just looking at PaySafe there. We've already talked a little bit about Bitcoin over and over again and some of the things that we like. I'm just gonna keep giving you guys the same stuff that I just keep buying. I'm already long the actual, the physical, obviously. I wouldn't be talking about it or posting this kind of stuff if I wasn't. But I still like BTCC.B. That's gonna be the ETF over there, the Purpose ETF in Canada. It follows Bitcoin. I can't really recommend SOS or Mara or SI or any of those things. To me, some of those are scams, but if you guys want to get into those, that's great. I think as an equity play, it's great. But again, if you're going to be following Bitcoin, you do want to get into that. Maybe even MicroStrategy has a possibility as well. That's it.
All right, guys, let's continue along. We'll head over to Microvision next. Big focus shifted over to MVIS last week, coming off of Reddit's forum, Wall Street Bets. Once again, it was the most discussed symbol Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday last week on Wall Street Bets. So tons of volume here again, guys. We're up, what is it right now? 12.8% for Microvision.
Yeah, it's got that short. I mean, look, it's got that squeeze aspect going to it. It just felt all kinds of stronger in the pre-market on Friday, of course, than Ocugen, which actually fell like 10% before it made its run. If you kind of start thinking back to that, I was looking at this like 19 level and just thinking, if we do fail to hold this higher low, I mean, I thought you get that break at 20, which has already happened, right? So you get a bit of a break at 20, doesn't get to 21 in the pre-market. You dip down below, it's trying to recover. Now I look at this like 2050 area here in Microvision and say, if we're not busting that off the open, a decent chance if we could test and break 19. And then the bottom, I think if like what Ocuvision did was basically give you a bottom, in that 10% range. Maybe it comes to those 18s before getting a big ramp up. So if I see a sharp decline into that 18 level that slams right back, I mean, I think you're thinking at that point about like a 1950 long. So it holds 18 and then snaps back in 1950, maybe shakes out some weak hands. That'd be one way to play the long position. The other one is to simply look at that 2050 area. I don't like that off of the open, taking the 2050. I mean, those breaks at that particular time of day tend not to be so good. So I'm initially going to be looking to see if there's a short position off of that 2050 or the high of the day that takes it through that 19 before hopefully making an 18 bottom on Microvision. So those are the levels for me, and a lot of that patterning is just after what I saw happen in Ocugen. And if a similar thing were to happen to MVIS, those are the levels I would expect to track through. I think if you are shorting it, you've got to have a relatively tight stop and at least know where your out is going to be. I mean, it's been entirely too strong not to ignore that. And you can't just sit there averaging into things like this when they start going up. The one day that it did have a big pullback, note that was right off of the open, that it did do that on Thursday, and even then it held the previous day's close price. That's why I think the similar thing will be likely to happen if we get a flush today.
So like Friday, it was just like, such a great day for the sticky note and such a great day for some of these. There's MVIS, man. Did we smash that level at 14? We're going to talk about Hockey too. But that was a big level, 1450. You guys can see right here, man. I mean, that was just rifled to $19. That seemed like a crazy, crazy top at the time. But then you come in today and you see it just upside one more time. So congratulations to the Reddit army. You guys continue to impress me and just bring the stocks to crazy levels. So good job for everybody there. But I mean, just the fact that this thing is come on, and there it is. Just the fact that this is near highs right now may give us a pullback. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Reddit army attack 10, 11, 12, 13, and then you get it to $21 today. Let's call it $20. I think it's crazy not to take this breakout again. So $20.80 on the high side. You could take that breakout. It's a pretty textbook short, like, through 20, 1950. You do have this top here at 19 as well. So downside, the plays are here. But, you guys, again, you've seen this move happen on Friday. I don't see why it really can't happen again right now on MVIS. So, again, a textbook short through here, 1970 maybe. Even a better one through this top at 1915. So I'll be going short if we do break back down below that this area right here, 1915. And a long through 2080, guys. So a couple plays. We're going both ways on MVIS today.
It was impressively strong on Friday, if you remember, moving to the upside with the overall market. But let's watch Microvision. A little bit of news on Moderna this morning. New deal with Sanofi out of France. On the manufacturing side, they've been struggling as far as producing enough for promised doses of their vaccine. So was down here initially, but that news came out. We got a little pop to the upside. So heads up on Moderna on the watch list as well. Let's go to Apple next. They announced they're going to speed up their spending and investment into their U.S. both manufacturing and research and development side of things. So $430 billion, adding 20,000 or as many as 20,000 new jobs over the next 5 years, guys, for Apple.
Yeah, Apple. I mean, look, Apple. I'm just looking at some of the charts here. You can't go wrong. I mean, I'm just, as far as the trade goes, we do have earnings coming, so we can wait to see where that goes. But obviously a very interesting story for Apple announcing, acceleration, $430 billion, 20,000 new jobs. I mean, this is not going to stop. We keep saying that, if you like the economy and you like investing, then you probably need to own Apple, and you probably already do own Apple. If you own any sort of an ETF or anything, then you are a holder of Apple, so you should be interested in a lot of what's happening there. But the thing about Apple is, it's kind of just chilling out here. Unfortunately, these charts are pretty garbage for Apple right now because we have too many dark pools. But as you can see, we're hanging out here around this high, 135. We've had some problems breaking it. You could go back again. This is a 20-period chart, so we can bring this all the way back. It looks a lot like Netflix, just chilling out, backing back up and down, up and down. 132 is the bottom there. I look for this to break easily on earnings. Any of these levels, like 135.50, give me a break. You're going to take that out, no problem. It's going to take out 135.20 is really the level that we're looking at. And then into today, again, nice moves upside. You're going to see the NASDAQ turn green at some point today. And then Apple's going to lead the way higher. So I like a 135.20 break on Apple. I'm putting the order in right now. And as you can go back to see, this goes back to April 20th, April 19th, and all the way back here as well to April 14th, where you have basically 135.20 as the top. No reason Apple doesn't just continue to march higher. And if it goes lower, then you get a better price.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, finally got my daily chart to load up there. I'm looking at that high. We've been watching this top on Apple since last week, and I think when it comes in, it's going to be of concern, certainly. Does it happen before earnings? I mean, I can't say for sure there. Stocks, you kind of have to treat it with care, but the last time, they got a spike earlier in the month, and you see the massive flush that it had. Now, there was a level off of, just going to show you guys here, there was a level on the pullback in the afternoon off of $14 that day. And then that's pretty much exactly where this stalled out in the pre-market. So I look at that failure and say, okay, well, maybe there's a little bit of resistance there. I was looking to see if it was going to play into that off of the open, and then it flushed through 13. There's consolidation off of 12. I think I can go with like a relatively tight stop. You know, it's 15 minutes till the open here. I don't know if I want to get blown out all the way to 13 even, but shorting off of that 12 to 12.25 level to see if there's another bit of a pullback here certainly makes sense to me. Just because in this particular space and in this particular name in general, you know, after the spike up, if it fails to break through at that little open trade, usually there's a sharp pullback. I do have to note that that big spike I showed you a few weeks ago, that did push into 11 o'clock. So this has last time run through the open and made its high a little bit later on in the session. So I have to be wary of that. That's one of the reasons why I think I'll have a relatively tight stop, maybe risk like 30 or 40 pennies on the initial position and then look for a better spot there. But it's down at the bottom of our watch list, and it is another NFT runner.
All right, let's go to Ocugen next. Big mover from Friday as well. We saw both way, or either direction. You could have gone long initially, and then some weakness came in late in the day. We talked about the offering. They ended up selling 10 million shares at $10 a piece. That was received very well. It's up significantly once again here in the pre-market. This is a COVID play once again. If you missed the news going back to last week, they're going to sell the Covaxin out of India, Covaxin COVID-19 vaccine. Hopefully in the U.S. they're waiting FDA approval, guys.
Yeah, this one I'm not so excited. We did have, again, I mean, back on Friday, we can keep talking about some of these breaks that we had. We had a big win from one of our viewers as well. Congratulations to everybody that hit OCGN. We had a big party on Friday night about that name. But I mean, look, today, I don't know. It doesn't look as crazy to me, obviously, today, but it's still a bump up, man. We did have that move coming to the downside there on the offering, and then now today, right back to where it needs to be at. I wrote down a 12 break. The order's already in to go on that 12 break, but that just seems a little bit high right now. So you do have some dump spots here like 1150. We never really got going past there on Friday. Obviously once we got downside, there was no coming back on Friday, but it's back today. So I'm looking at this 1150 break here on OCGN. I definitely think that that's going to be worth something. But again, maybe the news, not maybe, but I mean, the news is already out there. So let's just see if they want to run this thing. But 1150, in my opinion, you should start firing off some hot dogs. And then the thing is that even if it misses, man, you don't have that much risk. Like you risk 50 cents back to the downside. If you can't afford a 50-cent loss, then you're probably in the wrong game, or you got to share size down a bit.
I mean, always going to depend on your style of trade, guys. So make sure you know what you're doing. Are you scalping the stock? Are you planning on holding all day long? Now, Ocugen, I can tell you when it tried to take 11 this morning, there wasn't immediately some buying in that 80 range that could just completely stall the move. So, you know, I had 97 short, immediately buying coming into the 80 range. You get some of the mid 80s, and then it just started spiking up. There was solid bid action. And then once it got back above 11, it's been showing some support there. Now, is it going to be as wild post offering? I'm not sure that it will be. I think MVIS is likely to have a heck of a lot more volatility today, but they're both up over 10%. Some of that has to do with the offering. I think that's why MVIS at 13% is more impressive than the 16 by Ocugen in some ways. I do still think there is a chance on that 11 break, but I'd probably have to see it trade through that 1080 if you think there's going to be a short like there was off the open on Friday. When it comes to the long position, I mean, I'd love to see it fail break through 1080, and then you just take like an 11.25 long instead of taking a top break. I wrote down 12. It was the first level I wrote down when I came in here today. I don't know if I love 1150 at the open, given the high of the day is at 1180. So you're likely to see me short a 1080 break and not an 11 even break. And then if that immediately fails, I'd be looking for like that retracement long through that 11.
A little bit of news in SPAC land this morning. Bookmaker Betway announcing its plans to go public with a merger including Sports Entertainment Acquisition Corporation. And they're going to come to market at $5 billion here. So that's SEAH, another SPAC, guys.
SPAC world. I mean, yeah, another one. And you can see how well this got received. Well, I mean, so far today, look, it is what it is. This one had already sold off when I sat down. Almost touched that magical $10 number, and is trying to hold up back here. Now, there is this like little interesting pivot at 1070. That's the level I'm looking at. I'm kind of hoping they buy this one into 1070 so I can short it. Again, the SPACs have been slowing down. They have not been performing particularly well here. And anytime I see selling right into the pre-market, like there was a try to ramp this one up, and then it just couldn't get going. If it fails on an opening push, tries to get through this 1070, maybe gets like 5-10 cents, maybe 20, and then starts to come back in, I'll be shorting this one for sure through 1070. The thing about it is, it's probably a little bit safer just looking at the momentum in the pre-market shorting this than I would say your MVISs and your Occugens. Opportunities everywhere, but this looks for now a little bit weak. So SEAH, Sports Entertainment Acquisition Corp. Yeah, if you can't bust through that 1070, you'll see me at the open going short. That SJ, about 10 cents in the money, but I'm not taking anything out until it gets to like about 1050 or 930 open.
And guys, the only SPAC that I'm going to be rolling the dice on, and we've been putting our money where our mouth is from day one with BFT and PaySafe. I told you, I mean, again, my price is a little bit lower than this, but you know, once we turned symbols over and started making some of these bottoms, we were just waiting. Today it looks like we get an upgrade, and then now we'll wait for PaySafe earnings, but you're seeing a nice little 4%, now 3.7, we'll see where it opens. Percentage bump to the upside right now. This is PSFE. Just reminded me because they do have big connections there with the online gambling world and sports gambling as well. So PSFE, the only SPAC, I'm in STIC, that's BarkBox, but again, with Woof not doing a whole hell of a lot there, I look to continue with PaySafe there. Buy any dips in this name. I'm already pretty full position on this as far as I want it for a new company. So I like PaySafe taking out new highs. Let's see where it goes. I'm still excited for their earning report and more analyst action. So PSFE today, 200,000 shares, which is very, very decent for this name. So let's watch PaySafe. Congratulations if anyone's been buying this one with me recently. It still needs to take off, though. We're not going to celebrate. It got a $19 price target today. I mean, I'm not... 19 to me would be sort of a flash in the pan. Obviously, it's a big report to get that to 19 from here, but I'm not selling at 19. I have way more expectations than that for PaySafe.
Yeah, May 11th, just noting for PaySafe there, Sean, for earnings. Let's go to JP Morgan. Interesting story, becoming the next, I guess, bank or big bank to offer, or there's rumors floating around. They're not officially doing this yet, but rumors floating around that they are also going to offer some sort of crypto-based product to select clients. That was the language that they used, which is interesting because Jamie Dimon has come out in the past talking about his distaste, I guess, for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So is this more of they feel like they have to, or what's going on here with JPM?
Jamie Dimon's smart. I mean, like, let's be honest.
They were the first ones on Bitcoin.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know that this is necessarily going to move the stock today, but I don't think it's terribly surprising. I mean, they understand the way the market is going with this new asset class, and you're seeing it up only 0.5%. If there was a bank that I was going to be watching today, it was oddly enough going to be Wells Fargo on that upgrade, because and it's not to sort of jump to not to sort of jump away from JP Morgan, but I look at Wells on this double top here, and that's just a little bit. It was much more interesting to me as far as AIM. If it's only, both of them up 0.5%, but you look at that 44.40 level, $44.40 level on Wells Fargo, and you get that high from earlier in the week on Monday, and then again to start the week, you're testing that same level. It was a double top and then failure one time to begin the week, and you're going to get a similar high to start this week again. So that's a 14.40 break and fade almost all day long on Wells Fargo. JPM, I don't know. Again, if you don't already own, you pick your poison in the banking space, but I don't know if that's going to be a catalyst that moves the stock today, to be perfectly honest. I'd much rather look at a setup like a Wells Fargo here, but JPM, yeah, they're just being smart.
Guys, we've already hit the home run on JP Morgan. JP Morgan was one of the first major banks to talk all about Bitcoin. This was years and years and years ago. They started developing their own products a long time ago. It's nice to see them getting involved now, but obviously late to the game. You don't own JP Morgan for anything crypto related. So, but yeah, we were buying it down here. You guys know that. Shout out to Daryl as well, and some of the other traders out there that were buying Bitcoin when it was cheap. So there it is right now, man. JP Morgan continues to be, I always talk about it, invest in the best. And in my opinion, you know, and not just my opinion, I'm pretty sure it's the street's opinion, JP Diamond just continues to rock and roll and, you know, keep the stock high. The only thing about it is it's below the 50 period. I'd like to see it stay higher than that. I was debating selling this name, but then earnings came and they were bad here, but they weren't so bad, right here, that they didn't even break the 50 period. Then the little bit last week, we started to touch below it. So I'm a little bit concerned about how high up JP Morgan's been. And I mean, we just talked about the NASDAQ gonna go green at some point. There it is. So yeah, you know, for now, for the next like 3 or 4 months, obviously I like big cap tech, but I still roll a big position in JP Morgan.
All right, let's go to AXSM, one from the bottom. It's a higher priced small cap. We are in small cap territory, about $2 billion on the market cap for this one. They came out with FDA approval for a depression treatment that was in the works for quite some time. This is a very weak stock if you go to a daily time frame. This 62.50 was support on the way down. It's already kind of bounced into that this morning, so we are trading around 57.5 to 58 right now. But any kind of push into 60 up to 62.50, wide range, a little bit thinly traded, but watch for resistance on AXSM, guys.
Yes, sir. And apparently there's a little bit of an opening interest to the buy side on MyMed. This should be a bit of a surprise trading over in Toronto. You're not going to see any prints yet. The only way to trade MyMed, of course, is either in the OTC or here in Toronto until tomorrow, when you can actually look at this one on the NASDAQ. But if you see us quoting different prices at times, I could be looking at it in Toronto where it's kind of looking like it, I mean, there's no true indicative open, or it could actually be in that 7-8 range. I also did want to come back over to, if I could, that Moderna making a bit of a level here at 173, kind of an iceberg on the bid. This could be significant. I mean, I just saw it last couple of minutes here, holding it after breaking at 173. It was on our watch list as well. If this breaks to the downside on Moderna, I would look for that to be an interesting little retake level. If it catches the bounce off 171, kind of thing where an iceberg bid can turn into a bit of resistance on the way back up. But just saw that one at the level 2. Not a ton of volume, so I'm not reading too much into it yet, but Moderna's on the watch. 173 has an iceberg buy.
So we're going to be watching, one thing we didn't get to that's on the sticky note is Snapchat. So we're going to be watching also Tesla. I don't need the one-day chart up here when we're going to start the show. Through 750, we talked about that. Okay, and then Snapchat as well. I liked it through $62, but it has faded back. Already 2,000? Is that what that was? Good for the likes, guys. Thank you so much for that support, whatever that number is. But there's 62 right now. We haven't shown the imbalance locator yet, and I saw someone say, Sean, what about the imbalance locator? My bad. So here it comes, guys. AMC, yeah, that was another name. I was looking at AMC and trying to find out where do we get in. I think it's 1075 break on AMC. Palantir, a nice long as well. I don't know. Again, have bids, but they're lower. 2330s. Like I was not expecting this kind of a day for Palantir. Up 1 point. I mean, let's just, yes, sir. Let's just catapult ourselves, man. A lot of these plays that we've given to you guys over the last little while, at least from my standpoint here, starting to go to the upside, including Ford as well now. You know, we've been long GE for a long time. That's a bid as well. And Palantir and NEO. I mean, all of these stocks, really nice, man. I gave you that $8, $9 level on AMC. So really proud the way this one's turning out for all of us as well. So watch out for 1075 break on AMC. I'm going to take that early.
Yeah, I just covered that SJ. I have a rule about not averaging in when you get a move into like 930, and SJ, it's going to be an FT name. We did mention this could be a bit of a, it's got a low float. You have to watch out for these spiking at the open, and I wasn't going to hold an 1180 short all the way into 13 even. Whoa. So it did give you some at 55. I then actually get out when 25 breaks. If it tests 13, remember 14 is that key price from the daily chart. If you go back a couple of weeks, that's why I like it at 1380 top and want to give it room to try to run up to it. MVIS just now made a breakthrough 12 even. sorry, 20 even, I should say, 12. I'm looking over at stupid Ocugen. And then 1970 was held. So we had already had a flush into this 1970 price, had a breakout at 1970. That's why we sort of mentioned that one for you guys. If it cannot hold this at the open, I still think it has a chance to do a breakdown where 18 would be the floor that I would look for to catch any kind of a bounce. That's MVIS. A little bit of a flush, so not a buy yet going into the open. It actually just sold off going into 930 here.
Yeah, we have MVIS. I mean, just check out, I'm not going to go over all the levels again. Follow me, Valeria. Please put the link up there on Twitter. I put all my levels there on the sticky notes. So you guys can have a look. If they work today, that's fantastic. You can have a look at that again. So right now we're watching AMC. It looks like we're going to get into that very, very soon. We're going to get into Tesla probably breaking back above. We were going to watch MindMed. And again, I don't mean to make this like the MindMed show or anything like that, but it did crazy volume on Friday. It was 70% up. And I know that there's a lot of you invested in it, so you could trade that if you do want to. And then NEO on the way back as well, as we only have 5 seconds before the bell goes off.
Yeah, and this thing is usual sometimes, but delayed when you hit it. But I think Maggie's on the bell. Ring it now, because this market is open and watching immediately MVIS.
All right, we're open now. So let's give a big look here. NEO waiting to get open, so not open yet, NIO.
Yeah, and MVIS just sort of hanging out in the middle, that 1970 level. Not a ton of a bid here. I mean, but 25,000 just showed up at 75. It's trying to crack through that first level, that 1970, to that downside. That's what I'm going to be watching here. If it breaks through, I wanted that short. You're now looking at a test of that 2050, which was the other key price. And we didn't talk about Coinbase. Watch out for Coinbase 300. That should be worth the defend after it gapped up.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, Coinbase. Yeah, good move there, Neil. Thanks for that as well. MMEDF trying to go now. I think we'll take a little bit of a long, so we are long, not a little bit. We are long now. MindMed 23s here. MindMed long. So let's see where this one goes, man. I like this name today. If there's not obvious reasons, then I sorry, but we talked about the up list there. We'll see if it can go. There we go. Out some. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's over here. Out some up 23s, out some 30s. Let's see if MindMed flies, guys. I like it.
Yeah, sorry, I just saw something very, very, oh, that real? I was just looking over in Toronto on MindMed, Sean, and it really traded down to 450 and then to 550. I swear I actually saw this go down level 2 in print, and you maybe could have had $1. I tried to hit it and could not. You're already seeing a booming move. This is over in the TSX, guys, so MindMed on the move here as well.
Yeah, no shoot, MindMed's on the move. Bang! Big time destruction on MindMed, guys. We talked about this early. Get on board on this name. We did. So we're just catching this out right now. Like 36, 37s, 38s. We talk about that, man. And then we go long. And I'm just getting out. Like, I know the way the pink sheets work. I'm getting out of MindMed here. We've taken a lot of shares. We go long, and we're going to get out now for a decent spot here on MMED. But yeah, we did that again, guys. Hit the air horn. Let's go. Big trade on MindMed. We're going to watch some other names. NEO right near 42. Let's go, MindMed. Let's go. You know, we're long at 423, and then we like it so much we get again at 430. MindMed 440 and busting faces off. Let's go, MindMed.
Yeah, that stock is absolutely insanity. It continues to run, guys. Your MVIS here, it looks like it's going to be the other way. It holds 2050, so that one's going to be good. 1970 is the other price of downside. I just got back in to that SJ as it tries to retake 12, and looking at a 305 break on CoinDesk as well. So CoinDesk on the move, 305 break to the upside. SJ is the only thing I have on right now. Is MVIS, very, very range bound. It's the same thing with Ocugen.
Man, we are just absolutely destroying this name here, MindMed, guys. Okay, we're going to go long again at 50 here. We talked about 450. Next stop, maybe $5. Let's see if we give some up here. We're not going to let MindMed go too far below 450, though. We take that bid. It could fall down. We're light on MindMed. I just punched a little bit more just to see what happens at 450, but it looks like it is giving some of that love back a little bit. So let's get out of a little piece now at 46. There we go. We dump out a little bit. Now we're just holding a small, but a big time trade here on MMEDF, man. That's why, like, you guys say, oh, we're talking about MindMed. Hey, you want that kind of a winner. There it goes. You have to take the trade sometimes, right? So there it is, Neil. Big winner on MindMed. I hope you're able to get in.
I tried to hit 460 in Toronto and missed it, and it was $1 higher the next time I looked at it. I got back into SJ. I talked about not averaging into this, guys. I'm not going to do it. So I get back in when it retakes 12. It goes back down to 1150. So you rinse and repeat that. Take that 40, 50 cent scalp. Coinbase, I know we talked about crypto, and I don't know, maybe we did. I kind of feel like we didn't get into Coinbase. I talked about maybe defending 300. Didn't get there. I'm now looking at try to break this 305. But I'd much rather have a look here at like 305.50 and just sort of say, let's get definitively through 305, take it halfway up, let it break the 50-cent mark, and then go to the long side instead of the even dollar breaks, which have fallen out of favor for me on this particular name. So I'm looking 305.50 or defend 300 on Coinbase in particular. And the NYSE looking to try to take out the top 21. It just broke that 2050, couldn't break 1970, 21 even, now looking for the break.
Yeah, we've already cashed out, man. Hit the home runs, line them up, spank it out on NYSE. There it is again. Congratulations, man. Hope you guys are just crushing this market with me today. Let's go, Brendo.
All right, another one, guys, set to report this week. United States Steel, X, going to benefit possibly from this infrastructure bill that Biden wants to get through. $24 here holding so far. Big volume on X, guys.
All right, NYSE, man, we're already, I mean, look at this, guys. Let's just call it like it is, man. We give the levels, we hit the home runs, and you're coming back day after day. So let's just go, man. Like MindMed, bang, and look, Valeria, NYSE, unbelievable. What's up? To the upside right now, 2080, like a 70-cent win here, and we're sleeping on this name? Hello. MindMed as well. Giving this one to you. Bang, 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 bang. 455 to the upside. Let's go. What about AMC right now? In at 75, out some 80s, 81s. We're still holding this. I'm going to give this one back to 1060. So we'll see about MindMed, but everything else, man, we even took some Ether off the open. Oh, yeah, you want to talk about taking, like, trading what you know? 25.10, man. Ether's at 25.60. That's a 50-cent win as well. So let's just keep this party going. Look at MindMed. I'm done. I'm done, but you guys need to keep trading. So I'm going to throw it back over to Neil. You have any more ideas? I'm going to keep these 4 bad boys.
Yeah, I'm still long in NYSE here. That 1970 was a fantastic level you're going to see down there. I'm about to get Coinbase, which is pulling back off of 300. I don't want to get away from this. There might be a... Is MindMed halted in? MindMed might be halted in Toronto, by the way. I'm not really sure. But there could be a halt coming up in NYSE if it pushes through that 2250 area. If it does make an up halt, I think it's kind of worth a bit of a hold in this particular case because there's so much cover off that 21 area down to towards that 2050. On the other end of the spectrum, I just want to come over to OCGN. Not the same thing. So obviously they had the share offering. It's going to be a bit of a different story here. It couldn't get through that 1150. It looks like that might be the fade on today's action. So watch out for that OCGN. Not nearly the strength that it had over on Friday.
Let's go. Like, this is back. Pretty soon we're gonna have to start selling these, I think, Brendan and Neil here. Look at this, NYSE, 2080 long. And not only that, I talked about this over and over and over again in the pre-market. We were not shorting this thing. We were not shorting NYSE. And look at this, straight to the upside. Unfortunately, we do the same thing. We only have on 20% left. But wow, a big runner, man. 2080 up to 22 and change again. Send that tweet around, guys. Tell everyone about this show if you can. Look at MindMed, 423 off open, guys. 423 off open. We like it here, we like it here, we like it here, and we still got some of this bad boy on. So we're already at 2 times our daily right now as we go bullish in this market, and these are the only names that I'm holding on to. Unfortunately, we did miss Palantir to the high side there, but that's okay because of what else we have. Palantir, wow. And talk about another celebration, guys. Hit the chicken dinner winner for Palantir because we talked about buying this one at 21.22, and it's still rocking to the high side. We're just monsters today, man. MindMed, 30 cents. NYSE, $1.50, $1.70 now in the money on NYSE. Man, we're going to go 4 for 4. Let's just check out what Tesla's doing as well. This is amazing. I think we're 9 for 9 or 8 for 9 on Friday. Tesla coming up to that 750. It bounced off there. That would have been a good short. We're still going to play the long, though. Let's go NYSE.
Yeah, and SJ on that little spike, it just goes up to that 1250. Immediate rejection off the opening range high. I'm able to get it back at 1239 here, or 38. I'm able to take a 60 cent scalp. Gonna hang on. If it breaks 1150, that's a re-entry point. That's a reason to get more shares, not less. Coinbase, I got it in front of 300, so 301.12 to the long side. Let's see if it can't get to that 305 mark and hold. Defend that 300 even. Berendo.
Online tech education company, GSX Tech ED is the name of the company. You can remember this thing gets crazy sometimes to the upside. Popping up here, 15% on volume today, guys. They announced they're going to change their symbol. It's currently GSX to GOTU. So GSX going to change to GOTU. Guys.
All right, we're just tweeting this out so everyone can see that, our Smash City level there for MVIS. So let's just keep trading though. We got to keep going, guys. Okay, AMC, now 3+ cents in the money. And here's another one. So we have Occugen again. So Occugen going the other way. This just came in, so we're going to have to watch out if this one goes upside. May not. If it does fail, we do have some, I mean, we said Occugen was not as nice as MVIS because it wasn't ripping in the pre-market. It didn't have those same feels for us. Bye-bye, AMC. Bang, another one coming downside here. I hope we're having just as much luck over there. Because
well, three for three, but I don't have an Occugen trade, which is sort of I'm kicking myself because it just turned off that pre-market high. And if there was one, I said it was probably going to be a short relative to MVIS, but I didn't catch that when it just got to that little high at 1170. My med is halted in Toronto, by the way. I can confirm that for those of you guys that are talking about it. It just opened back up and is testing 6 even over here. If it pulls back to like 550, that could be a bit of a level. But you're watching it absolutely go bonkers. I don't know if obviously there wasn't a halt in pink sheets, but it's testing 6 even here on the Toronto market. I'm still looking at Occugen off of 1180 is that top. If it retests, I'm looking for a short there. You can chest a break if you want to. Coinbase is only $1.50 in the money. I want a little bit more than that before I take any profit.
Yeah, guys, we just hit that ding because nice to hear from Neil there of what exactly MindMed is doing.
I looked away for 2 seconds and missed $6.
Your boy is still long MindMed, so that's a nice little 30% move to the high side again for MindMed, and we have the whole damn thing, so that's a good one. What's up, Brendo?
Casper Sleep, guys, just popping up here. A couple of upgrades, it looks like. Wedbush increasing their price target on this one, but huge move here, 19% almost, straight to the upside for that mattress maker, Casper, guys.
Casper,
oh, I just thought.
Okay, I mean, I'm still looking at the same names here. We still got OCGN. I took a little bit off. That's what I want to do. I wanted to find a downside move for OCGN. This is not the same position, obviously. We talked about that with MVIS. Yeah, just basically breaking back down through 11. We'll get out of OCGN. That's going to be a little bit too much pressure on the downside of that one. So we'll take one ripper for a win there on MVIS, and then we'll have to hold the rest. We did take a little piece out there at 40 because obviously it struggled to get going, but I still like OCGN to the long side. I'm going to give it down to 11. Like I said, you know, if you're going to try to make these big winners, you know, you're going to have to hold on for a little bit. So let's give this one a little bit of room downside to see what we can do on the upside. But it doesn't look like OCGN wants to run, but we do have that out really defined.
Yeah, let's try to hit a key here. I mean, I don't know, like there's been enough excitement. Why not? Gonna look at Coinbase here. Just got to 305. Well, just got to 304, testing that 305. You look at the pre-market bottom here. We're trying to break through. I'll take some out in front of 303. Like I said, scalp like $1.50, $2. And then if it breaks a high, I want to see if I can't hold into pre-market high at 307, so call it like 306 or so, target like a $5 winner, something in that range. I mean, crypto has been battling back. And Coinbase, for me, it's just been something, it's been ranges that we've been able to make some sense of and then been able to make some money on. I can tell you, and just, I don't know what it looks like in Toronto, on the pink sheets right now, but there is a battle being waged. Come on, you gotta be kidding me. There is a battle being waged right at 6 even on MindMed here, and there's been like these big orders that show up at like 5s and 7s. Every time it slams below 6, there is a bid that just comes right back and bids it back up. So one way or the other, in this little 10-cent range, of course this is in Toronto, so it's different pricing, there's going to be a big time run from here. I might even test a short because there's so much cover, but just do that at your own peril, of course, shorting in MindMed today, that's for sure.
Yeah, and that's why we talked about only going long on MindMed. I hope you guys have followed a little bit of that and were able to crush that with us as well. Occugen's still on my mind. What up, Brendan?
I mentioned a couple of chip makers in the pre-market. I was just double checking on Skyworks. April 29th for earnings on this one, but all-time highs this morning here. SWKS up 3%, guys.
SWKS, huh? Okay, yeah, so MindMed right now, it does look, Neil, like what you were mentioning there. Okay, so there, we're out now. So there, we cleaned up MindMed there. I was going to give it... Yeah, MindMed. We tried to give it to 5. We did give it to 5. It didn't break. I gave it a little bit of room. We got out at 473. So, I mean, the stock of the day, MindMed right now, just continues to rocket upside there. So hopefully you guys are able to grab a nice win on that. And again, when it's a $4 stock, man, you could definitely do some damage on MMEDF. So congratulations, anybody on that one. And we do have them tomorrow, Brendan, both J.R. Ron and Kevin O'Leary live with yourself, Brendan Wickens, tomorrow, not in studio, but they'll be here tomorrow. I believe the time, Brendan, if you can confirm that?
Not confirmed yet, but hoping, guys, hoping in the pre-market. before the market even opens tomorrow. So we'll let you know.
Good. Thank
Yeah,
you
we'll
so
do fist bump because it just at the Toronto. I tried to show you guys that level on in Toronto. I know certainly it's a different price on the pink sheets, but there was that battle at 6 even. It did break to the downside, so whichever way it goes, it's about to make a move. It broke the range downside, got the short into what was that halt price at 566. In Toronto pricing. If it holds there, we love halt prices for support and resistance. I think if we can hold that, it's going to be a bounce into that 6 even. Otherwise, a break through 566, and I'd be waiting till 5 even where I've never quite seen anything like what I saw at 5 even. I'm trying to wrap my head around the ridiculous amount of buying that came in off that open because I'm telling you, legitimately, I saw it printing down here at 450 and almost lost myself trying to get along that I couldn't even touch. And next thing I know, I'm staring 540s on the bid. So 560 looks like a key level in Toronto. Another level that could be big for a bit of a pullback buy. I'm not sure it wants to do so yet. There is a lot of offer coming in to sell and take what is monumental profits coming in. Just to go back over to Coinbase, if I can, still holding that long. Basically, look, I mean, I say this and we just had someone always tell me that I shouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth. Are you kidding me? Opening range top at 305. It stalls and fails at 305. What am I even doing not taking that profit? 304.75, what am I doing? You got to be able to take a profit when it's there. I just finished saying 306 was reasonable, and I'm not going to take a $4.50 winner. Of course I am. Brendo?
Just saw this one, guys. Simon Property Group popping up here, 2+%. Evercore with a price target increase on this one. SPG coming up to significant levels here. This is 122, 121.90. For SPG, guys. Yeah,
just another name that we're long at an embarrassingly low price of $60 on SPG. We saw that name early, obviously, in the pandemic. We knew that malls would be back, so SPG was bought. And again, shout out to Daryl. I think you're on that trade as well with me. Back down in COVID times, man. Find the strong companies. Like, know that they're like one of the #1 operators there, and what's on board for them. Simon Properties. I like it. This is the levels down here at 60. Like, they were giving a sick dividend back at that point, right? So you got to remember that as well when you're investing plate stocks that have pretty sweet dividends as well. So that's Simon Property Group, guys, for the win there as well.
And just so you know, Oxygen trying to test back upside. So it hasn't made the push all the way to 1180. It's gotten close a couple of times here, but you look at that pre-market high, it's now held 11, so I guess that's a bit of a bullish sign. I'm still playing off 1180. Like I said, I'm out of that Coinbase, just NVIS and that SJ, which of course is our resident NFT play of the day that I'll hang on to the short with. But looking somewhat stronger, I would like to say, is Oxygen going into this 1175 area here. So it hasn't been the rollover short yet. You want to pick your spots. If it fails on a lower high, okay, probably worth it on a consolidation here at 60 to take a shot off that little top there, guys. But my men did not hold that 460 in Toronto pricing, so it's still kind of doing that little bit of a pullback. I'm going to look to see, I should say 560 I meant. It's 460 if you look at the U.S. But that pullback, if it goes to 5 in Toronto and about $4 in the U.S. market, I think that could be a bit of a bounce.
Yeah, we just actually took some more long there on MindMed. So right here, 455 on MindMed right now. So it's 450 or 455? 456, I'm actually, 456, yeah. So I'm long. I thought I got 455, but I guess I got 456. So let's wait to see here what MindMed wants to do to the upside. We're back long this name here, MMEDF. So back long your boy is. So let's see how high this one wants to fly now. Yeah, big time movements over there in Canada. And also, guys, to the moon. What a great idea MVIS was once again today. So again, congratulations, everybody that's long MVIS here with me. This is a $2.50 now in the money. And then, by the way, look at AMC. We talked about that taking out 10.75. That's exactly where we're long. Good days all around here, Brendo.
If for whatever reason you're not enjoying Microvision, how about LAZR, Luminar, guys? Day highs here on volume again. 2 days in a row here being dragged along with Microvision, guys.
Yeah, hell yeah. So we're out a little bit of AMC there for 15 cents. Let's just wait to see if it now takes out 11. Patience pays, man, with OCGN. So let's wait to see now. We got a little bit out, but that's fine. We got some out for, where am I long at? 60. So we got some out at 40 there for 20 cents. That's only a third. That's only 20%. So we have some more upside here. Let's look at 12. We did have a stopping spot there at 12 for OCGN. But here you go. This is an opportunity. If you like the short, you could take it. But we're long right now at 11.60, looking for 12 print. Let's see if we get it on OCGN, guys.
Yeah, I got a 47 short looking for an out at 11.65 on Oxygen. And it's about tight tight stops when you start thinking about going against the counter trend. Coinbase is getting close to trying to test that top. It's a 307.30 high, so I still think there's a bit of a breakup play. If I sniff 300 again, which I don't know that we're going to, evens, I would still like to defend that price. I don't think we're done with that by any stretch of the imagination. SJ comes again back to that 1220. I get 26 is short. It just keeps hanging out in this range and cannot seem to give you too big of a win past like 1180 and then 1156. So you're taking a 30-cent scalp and then you're essentially getting like a 70-cent scalp win. The longer it holds this bid, at some point it's likely to become a bit of a breaker. So I look at 1250 now and say that becomes a reversal to the long side. I was only going short on this NFT play. It's got to be a reversal long. So as much as you made some money shorting this play, note the fact that it's held some strength. If it breaks 1150, I'm looking to add at that price. I think that's where it would flush down. This is the one that feels like it's the weaker, weakest of the gapper plays today, and that should go without saying when you look at the price action on Ocugen and MVIS. Oh, I couldn't even get the break. Are you kidding me?
We're just sitting out here and chilling out. MindMed does bounce. We do get some nice 70s there, I believe. Or what was this price? 67 on the upside. So we still are long here on MindMed, $4.56. You can see our last buy. So bought it early. Unfortunately, didn't get anything out at 5. I still think we can retest that. We'll wait to see next. But 455 right now and bumping upside. I mean, the party may be over, but the one thing that's not over, and congratulations to Brendan as well. Hopefully, we'll do this on the small cap recap. Look, Microvision, man, we destroyed this. My number one stock on Friday. My number one stock again today. $2.10 now in the money on MVIS. So a good banger there. Thank God we had that. And the sticky note reigns supreme as there it goes, 23. A big shout out, guys, to everybody on Reddit. Mamma mia, enjoy some nice pizza pie because this is just ripping up right now on MindMed. So there it is. To you too there, Uncle. There we go. Nice little jump up there. We do some backflips as MVIS, man, making our day and paying for lunch today. So good move up for MVIS. Just continue to rock and roll. Oh, yeah. And by the way, you want another one, guys? You want another one? Let's just slay some more dragons because check out AMC right here as well. Another name you guys want. Busting to the high side here goes AMC, man, breaking through now 11. Look where we're long downside right now. 1075, a nice little long for AMC as it continues to go up. That's a good move, man. We may just get this out at 11. Was expecting 11s, got 11, so there it is. Nice move here for A to the M to the C.
Yeah, and like I just mentioned, I couldn't even get the break. 1150 goes. We're now $1 in the money on that SJ. So the NFT play looks continuously weak here. I do want to note back where this came from, just so you guys have an idea. Yet last week's tops is 1033. I don't care about the close at 970. I'm kind of looking to that as the ultimate bottom. So I'd look to see that 1033, call it like 1050, round up a little bit, and take your profit. Ocugen is doing something very similar to what it did at the time last time at this time of day. Without the pullback, though, at this particular time, it was making a flush bottom on Friday before making a move to the upside. This time, it's sort of only strength. So it's a bit of a reversal here. I'm still going to get out if it tests that high of the day of the short trade. But at this point, I would have expected it to already make a strong break through the top. This consolidation is lasting a little bit longer than I anticipated. And watch how Coinbase is starting to come back into 301. I want to rinse and repeat that long. Miss V?
Hey Neil, some traders on the chat talk about Churchill Capital. CCIV is up around 3%, guys.
Gotta add that one to my list. I actually had taken Churchill off my list the last little bit because, to be perfectly honest, you guys see where the activity has been. I know it's a popular name, but okay, so I didn't even see that spike. Was there anything that just happened here the last couple of minutes, Brennan?
Just going to double check on that one, but another one just spiking up here as well, guys. 22nd Century, remember the tobacco name from last week came up, tag 6, but big volume on the sell side here for XXII.
No, I mean, yeah, so obviously you just saw like on the chart here, but a $1 move here in Churchill. Now, I don't know if there's any news particular on this one, so I don't want to touch, look, if Churchill's going to make a spike like that, I'm never shorting into it. If there's any legitimacy to that kind of a move. And yeah, you don't stand in front of that train too long and survive. Ocugen just made a bit of a move here. Come on, let's go. Of course, my chart hates me. Load, load, load. There you go. Sorry, Ocugen just made a little bit of a pluck. I was sort of saying I was surprised that it hadn't made a run already. When it goes into VWAP, it makes some sense to try to take some shares off there. I'll scalp some off VWAP and then see if it can't get down to that 11. Just keep in mind, This is still on a trend trying to bust to the upside. I thought it was going to run without a pullback. That's why I had a tighter stop. I'm going to maintain that stop and probably bring it back in to like an 11.55. So now that it's running the money and take one out, I'll tighten the stop up, which is exactly what I did at this time on Friday before it broke out. And I still like to get someone in front of 11 if I can. Brendan?
So there's this website being circulated, it looks like online, talking about a potential partnership between Lucid and Apple. Caution, everyone though, look at the date. Look at the date. It's April 23rd. This came out on Friday. So caution on that, guys.
Okay. Yeah, that's not new news. And then, yeah, there comes Ocugen down in. You know what? Let's see if we can't get a little bit more aggressive on this, take some shares out on this move. So it does break VWAP. I'm always going to take some every time it pops here. I just tried to move from like 11.11 to try to get 15s, but if I only get sort of 17s out, remember, this is still kind of trending to the upside. So as much as I'm going to be happy that Ocugen made that little move, and it was a good short off of that initial failure a couple of times at 11.65, note the upward trend. Understand that this is, for now, a stock which is, I would say, accepting that offering pretty well, up and holding. Now, Coinbase, looks like it was a good idea to catch that turn off of 305. Here we come right back into 300. Now, I'd like to see it bounce off like the first time we'll catch a falling sword, that's fine. I've missed out on too many longs by not catching the falling sword in Coinbase. The second time it comes through, I'm going to need to see it bounce first. If it bounces off that 300, or even off this 374, which is the current low of the day, sorry, 75, which is low of the day, bounces there, then I'll get a long in front of it. I'm not going to catch it until it tests the price once again. Don't want to throw away your profits in the morning. When you don't have any losers, you don't need to force any action just yet.
No, yeah, don't force anything. We are now down. Okay, so we got out, just by the way, we took that 50, and then as soon as 50 broke, we got out. Should have reversed to the short on MyMed, but again, just so many things filling in here for me. So MVIS, just to give you guys an update, we're gonna get out of this if it breaks back down through 22. We let it go high, there it is, so now we'll get out of MVIS for a nice win, man. That's $1.20. Obviously, it could have been a lot bigger. The same thing happened to me before, but I didn't want to get MVIS. Remember, we already named it that. But so you get back into this area now, it dumps out. I don't even want it to really come down to VWAP, so we do get out there, get out of MVIS. I think there's another long right here, 2260, so we will try that if it does come back upside. But look at this, man. There goes Palantir. Like, stick with the good, right? And then Palantir right now to the upside. Whoops, we don't want to get out too many shares. Oops, that's not even the right stock. Here's Palantir. There it is right there, guys. So Palantir, a nice move. Look where we're long, 53s. Hey, not bad. This is a nice little 17-cent win right now as we go right back up to 70. So there it is, man. Palantir. We don't let it die, man. We waiting for this name. It comes right back down. We pick that up. Our baby just comes right into the cradle, man, where it's nice and warm. 23.50. We take that and get out on the upside. So that's a great trade there for Palantir. We're now out. Like, that's 20%, 40%. It makes a move like that right to VWAP. We're gonna cash some out, guys. So again, maybe we'll take out another piece. Yeah, you know what? Forget that. I'm gonna take out one more piece if we can get it at 72, and there it is again at 72. So we'll just keep getting out there up to VWAP. A nice little long there on Palantir, but what a successful morning this has been so far, guys. I hope you're good. MindMed maybe now looking to make a bottom. We'll see, 44, 441 or so.
Yeah, I mean, I was sort of looking at the same thing, like where is it going to make that next little defense? I kind of thought when I was looking at the Toronto chart, and again, that was going to be about $5 or so in the pink sheets. That would be like a 4 to 420 area. Look, I'm not making that one up. I mean, you can kind of look at the chart yourself and say 420 are always the thing, 420. I'll come back to one of the positions we have, that SJ making a bit of a bottom here. So that $11 looks like it ran into some, I guess, support down here for the time being. If it gets back above 11.50, I'll probably look to take this one off, and I wouldn't average in until it gets back to 12 or VWAP. I'm still holding on to MVIs to see if it has a bit of a push. And OCGN, yeah, so that's another higher low that just got put in, starting to show a little bit of strength here. So this was exactly, look, I mean, the setup was I caught a rollover at this particular time. Now, this was off of a down move first, and then I got a couple of legs out around VWAP, and then it took out the high and then was basically gone. And I just moved my stop down on Friday when it made the breakout style trade. So I kind of look at that 11.65 as the previous prices where I would go long, and my stop keeps coming down here. Probably going to go to like 11.50, 11.55, somewhere in that range. But it's still headed downside, and I wanted to test that 11 even so I can get the rest of the scalp trade out. It hasn't been there yet. I'm not looking to hold on to the Dickens with this trade. I mean, certainly, I guess you could, That's not going to be my game plan, however. And just to let you guys know, that NVIS just came out to the downside. So it looks like a trail on that one. I said I would start using trails, and of course, when I use a trailing stop on this, I throw a trail when I try to break, to hold 2185, and then immediately get stopped out. I think there's going to be a chance it gives you that 21 even again, and at least that 1970, you know is going to be the ultimate bottom. Well, it should be the ultimate bottom in any kind of a pullback. For now, Ocugen looks pretty good. Coinbase isn't there yet. I'm not going to force the trade on Coinbase. Getting in too early, you just give up $1 or $2 when it's basically been a scalp trade in $5 ranges most times.
Yeah, we got out of NVIS there a couple minutes ago as well. I still looking at this trade though, guys. Like this 2250, I actually like it. I'm going to put an order in to go long 2250 there on NVIS. So let's get ready for that one. But look at Palantir, man. And again, you got to go back to the well. We talk about that all the time. You know, find stocks that you're comfortable with. Find stocks that plan out well for you and that makes sense, right? And we talked about this level again. Palantir likes to retest bottoms. So it does that in the pre-market, 2350, and then we just waited for it. We missed this move. I had these bids here too. You could see I got missed, right? Like we could have had this bid early, like an early runner here on Palantir, but unfortunately we missed that move, and I didn't even put this order in. It just came right back into us, filled us up at 53. I wanted to average all the way down, so maybe now this is a decent spot to take out one more here on Palantir, but maybe it's struggling a little bit. 23.75. Let's get another piece out here on Palantir and then see if it continues to March, but we'll get longer if it comes back into the 50s and 60s. Let's take out one more piece and let this thing fly up, man. But what a fantastic day this has been. NVIS starting to go again.
Yeah, we're going to go with, I don't know, we'll call it temporary to the gates of hell as Ocugen does come back in. He gets that 11. We're going to take the trade off. You get the quick little scalp win. Now, I remember we talked about this. 11 even was that break before in the pre-market. It held 1080. The same thing sort of happened on the open. Like it held that 1080 level and bounced back to the upside. That's why it's going to be a key for me. I wanted to take the shorts off in front of it, knowing where it stalled out in the pre-market and the opening range. If it gets below that price, I think you have to be at least a little bit more concerned. So 1080 is the key on OCGN. You can see I only have that SJ still on board with that little short trade. And then one I wanted to come back to, we talked a little bit about the banks, and then I mentioned Wells Fargo. Tried to break through that 44.40, of course, was a high on that daily chart a couple of times now, holding below that little failed breakout price. So I'm looking back at this like 14.40 and now extending it to 14.60, but clear resistance on Wells Fargo. I'm going to move the breakout to a 44.60 now that it's open and done volume. And unfortunately, it might become a fade if you get below VWAP, and then you play off that 40 to 50 as your resistance point.
I'm just scalping MindMed here, pretty good. 45, 46, something like that, just up and down and around. Just got out some 48s right now. So watch out. MindMed doing good volume here, guys. But yeah, we are ready for happening now with Brendan at the big screen.
Hey guys, 10 o'clock. Let's have a look at North American markets, see how things are shaping up so far. The Russell in the lead here. This is the Russell 2000. Small caps having a nice day. Almost a full percent to the upside so far. 0.93 in positive territory. The NASDAQ composite here next. 0.28 to the upside for the NASDAQ. This is Brazil. The BOVESPA having a nice day, about 0.3%. The S&P, 0.25%. The Dow, even the TSX here in Toronto, nicely positive to start the new week. A couple of things we were talking about in the pre-market to be aware of. Moderna teaming up with France's Sanofi on manufacturing their COVID-19 vaccine. 175 here was clear resistance to 175.50. We're coming up to that point as we speak. Now positive after being down about 1.5% in the pre-market for Moderna. Apple was on the watch list as well. Trying to get back above 134, guys, for Apple, but overall initial selling on Apple today. Back over to you.
Yeah, and we talked about where that might go, and we know that resistance is going to be on Apple. And I think until it gets to, look, I mean, ultimately, you might not get that break until post earnings. We talk about that 135.50. Overall, it is worth noting the market is basically, we're just slightly positive, so it's not like we're sitting here doing absolutely nothing, but the market is basically flat, and I think that's why you're not going to see that breakthrough that you want in Apple. I do want to come back to one other one. We did talk about this, that SPAC of the day, sorry, I should say, that's on the New York. Of course, I thought it was NASDAQ. Not a lot of strength. It did try the rollover at the open. Of course, if you're paying attention, you know, SJ, Oxygen, and MVIS were in play this morning. We've done pretty solid on all of them so far today, and that's the only reason why I wouldn't have been shorting in this one. We did say it was going to be weak. It did push into that 1070 area off the open and then give the rejection, still looking like it cannot catch a bid, so another SPAC that can't seem to get bought off that open. I'd look for this to break down here. So if it breaks like 1040, then I'll get into the short trade. I think you look at this top at 1055, and then you got like a 15-cent stop, something along those lines. But I don't want to make a move until it moves. And in a 15-cent range and doing nothing for the last 15 minutes, I'll let it break that 1040 before I get in. But I'm only going short this today's SPAC.
Oh yeah, we're gonna check out PaySafe. We'll check out PaySafe in a minute, but we're feeling kind of ways right now as AMC. We're letting this one go, man. We didn't get out. Like, it broke back down 11. You know, I like this level 1075. Let's just see. Let's see what happens here with AMC. So a nice run. We got out again. We're holding 20% of this play left. So a nice upside surprise here for AMC. And I say surprise because we were definitely not expecting this kind of a move. Okay, so here's MindMed again. I'm going to keep talking about it because it's making money, and I don't really see why we shouldn't be keep on trading this name. So MindMed right now, it looks like we're going to have, yeah, we're still on it. So looks like we're gonna have a little bit of problems. There he goes. I was gonna say through 50, but not problems for me, as this one is a spicy. Oh, you know what? We actually have MindMed stuff here. Where is some of that psychedelic stuff, guys, on the board? If you have a psychedelic me, hit that, guys. I don't know where it is, but there it is. I got it. There it is. So MindMed right now. Nice move. Let's get out of another piece here. We'll see if we get some 54s. Again, it's very tricky when you are, there it is. So we got some 54s there. Yes, sir. So that's a nice little move. So a face slap here for MindMed today. Just glad we brought this to your attention. Whether or not you're trading it or not today, look, it's a mover, and you know, you'd be a little foolish not to be on this name today, that's for sure. So again, a lot of you don't have access to the pink sheets. That's fine. Tomorrow, uplist, MNMD, happening tomorrow. And we've got them on, man. J.R. Ron and Kevin O'Leary. What up, Kevin? He's going to be coming on tomorrow to talk everything MindMed and what this means for the company moving forward. So congratulations, anybody long with me on MindMed today. It's been a monster day.
Someone just I saw someone asking if there was a whale on NEO. Now, I wasn't watching NIO, but sort of noting they did have a $1.50 move here off the open. That's all downside, you know, going into Tesla earnings, obviously, in the NEO, I believe not till later on in the week at least. But there is some consolidation. I look at this 41.50 area, and there is a bit of a battle being waged. I can't say that I've seen any obvious orders to give indication who is going to win it, but watch out for that 41.50. It did spike up once and get sold. So there might be a big, well, there might be a seller, I should say, is the first thing I'm thinking about every time it gets into that 50 range that is dumping these shares. You like the cluster, and if it breaks up out of this and the market starts going, not too bad at all, I don't think. I'm also with you sort of watching that MindMed, and worth noting OCGN, which I've been looking for a spot. Now, again, I scalped the short a couple of times, but I'm sort of looking for a spot for it to do like a reversal like it did over on Friday. To this point, it just hasn't been there. I mean, it's still sort of looking a little bit relatively weak. This is all post, of course, you know, they did have the offering, and as much as they're holding up 15%, if it breaks that 1080, I am going short on OCGN, and I'm still looking for this one to give you a break to the upside, and I'm looking at 1165. If that changes, I'll let you guys know, but it's starting to lull me a little bit to sleep, as is Coinbase. AMC on the move, though.
Yeah, no shit, AMC's on the move, so we just go, yes, sir. And we'll just do another one, man. We're going to throw the cash around today. This is the kind of day that it's been for us here. So AMC, yeah, 1125 now, up that 10%. So I don't know, that's a big move. And then you want to talk about another big move, throwing cash around again. We may just get out of this one right now. Palantir, guys, 80s, good move. The NASDAQ's are, I mean, maybe we don't get out. NASDAQ's making big moves to the upside here. You know, if I dump this here, that wouldn't surprise me because that's pretty typical of me. So let's take something out on the high side here on Palantir and then see if it wants to continue to go up. But that's a big move. Yeah, let's just take this out at 85 if we can get it on Palantir. There it is. Oh, that was easy. We just got an easy 85 there. So we'll go... because today, man, this is what's happening. You can see no loser. Well, we lost on OCGN, so we do have one loser. What's up, Brendo?
One from Friday as well. Big mover back on Friday. Remember, INO lost their government funding for their COVID-19 vaccine research work. So big move down on Friday, but trying to bounce here, guys. We're back above 7 and holding for the time being for INO.
Okay, here comes Coinbase once again trying to make a move through that I guess we'll call it that 305 price. This is where we got out last time when it made that turn. This is now like 1, 2, and 3 times since the open that we're trying to test that 305 range. This move here down into 300, I said if it bounced, I'd try to pick it up. Big time snapback. So, again, if you stand in front of the sword, you're going to cash that trade. As I mentioned in the plan, if it came down here, I want it on the way back up, not on the way in. So that's the only reason I didn't catch it. I'm looking for the 305 break. I'll defend 301. Inside the range, I only want the best price, and we see if we can't break out of it, at least for the time being. Coinbase is falling a little bit asleep. If you're tracking any of the other names, like Amara, one of the reasons why I do think Coinbase hasn't broken out is you are seeing at least a little bit of a pullback in related names in the space. So Mara on these lows at 34 even. I'd be a little bit concerned if this one took out the bottom and I got triggered into Coinbase at exactly the same time, sort of that reverse momentum. So I am watching several things in the entire space, as in addition to Bitcoin, which is holding 5,300. It just bounced to the upside, which makes me think Mara should be going. I'd be a little bit concerned over the fact that it isn't if you're trading that name, guys.
You want to see some people talking about Rocket here? Yeah, Rocket's starting to take off. I mean, what about Facebook? Again, the loved, it's one of my favorite names here for FANG stocks right now. My largest holding is Google in the portfolio, followed by Microsoft. We have some nice Boeing trades in there. We have Square, we have JP Morgan. It goes on and on, man. I did dump obviously some of those Exxon Mobils and whatnot of the world. But okay, NEO, I don't own any NEO, but we do own Tesla, obviously, in our long-term account. That's an easy one and a no-brainer. Tesla comes up to 750. We talked about that one. It was the only level that we wrote down. So if you liked the short on Tesla, then we did have some love for you there. But again, wow, okay. Just noticing this MindMed move, guys. This is like, again, I think we got to take a piece off here if we can get some 67s. We're offering 67s right now. There it is, like nice out on MindMed. I mean, this is just the way I've been trading it today. Long on, like, here's off the open. That was, like I said, a no-brainer. Probably the easiest trade today, besides that MVIS break. Right there, and then again, it dips down. We let it dip down, we get long, and then we let it dip down again. We miss the very bottom, but then we take the log. So for me today, MindMed is the champion for me, but that's, whatever. You guys trade that as you want. Now it looks like it's turning around. We have a very, very small position left on MindMed. So we're out now, and I see a lot of people talking about it. Like, can I recommend this thing? I'm long, price is better than this, but the point about MindMed is, and it's not just MindMed, it's every stock, you do have, buy the rumor, sell the news. So tomorrow it gets uplisted. So again, your shares are going to take time to switch over from MMEDF over to MNMD on the NASDAQ. So whether or not that takes a couple days for your broker, you better find that out. But I think a good play would be to get flat and then rebuy them tomorrow. So that could be a possible play. Rebuy them tomorrow from the NASDAQ. That could be a decent play on MindMed. So if you wanted that one and you wanted exposure, I only saying that because I don't know how long it takes for you guys to get your orders and your shares transferred from the OTC markets over to NASDAQ. So if you want some love tomorrow, you may want to sell and rebuy. But again, I mean, like I said, that crystal ball's left at home today. So I don't know if the uplist gives it more juice than it's had the last couple of days. But look, it was 70% on Friday, 30% today, 70 plus 30. It's doubled in 2 days. So you tell me if you want to take some money off or not. That's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, selling the news makes, this is something we've talked about before, but you have to know your own personal situation with regards to any shares that you do hold and how that transfer is going to take place. If you're holding in Toronto, it's not going to affect you at all. I see some people that were talking about Naked Brands. I do note that it is up 15%. It's not at a necessarily a super significant price just yet, as of course, Coinbase tries and immediately fails on that little breakthrough of that 305. I'm going to see if I can't take a little bit off here. Don't want to give away too much on Coinbase, so I'll trim. I'll trim some of my position for about $1 hit on Coinbase 305 and see if I can't hold the rest. But I don't see anything obvious on Naked Brands as far as levels that I like, so I'm going to play this one by ear. If it tests up to like 75 or so, I would get a little bit interested in shorting this name. But Naked Brands has been a short to pop every single time. I'm not sure it's going to be any different here.
So Apple, new position. That's what you hear that siren for. So new position here on Apple. We take this break of 134.40. Let's give this one back to 134 at least. So back to 134, I think it's worth averaging in, but there's a new position. Brendan brought us Apple earlier. It's on our watch list. It's only up that 0.7. Probably lots of room to run here. So Apple right now on my board now. So that's going to be another long position for us. I'm looking at this AMC, guys, and honestly, like, I'm just not sure what levels. Like, here's the daily chart on AMC. We're getting up to where we've been before, 1180. But this is $1 now. Like, sorry, well, 75 cents in the money. If we break through 1150, we'll get more than that. But up to 1150, 1180. This may be the spot now. I think it's worth getting some out on AMC here. I would rather it break 1150 one more time, but this is a good spot to get out here for 1150. Let's take 75-cent win on AMC and just move on. But that's a big move here. We've seen it make this and then come back in, so we'll wait unless there's new news on this. Brendan, I think this is a big move out of the upside now, another 12, 13, 14%. I know the short interest is like around 17. I checked that for you on Friday, so there are some plays here on AMC. And it's looking very, very strong. Needless to say today, up that other 13%. So we'll just probably ring the register right now. Looks like it's having some issues at 50. And then maybe even go long again if it takes out 56, guys.
Yeah, I just got a little bit of a dip buy. So the breakout doesn't work in Coinbase. Like I said, take some out when it breaks at 304 and then get right back into the play at the bottom. So the one that works is going to be long off that 3 even, that 300 even. We're going to get right back into that same trade. I am still watching Ocugen. Now, it's not... Like I said, it's not making the crazy moves that it was before, but this is starting to look a little bit weaker. I'm not at the point where I want to short anything but the breakdown trade yet, but it's starting to get to that point where I might start getting back into it on that south side. I do look over, and I think we did mention Tesla a little bit, of course. They had those earnings. It spiked into 750. Now, obviously, we talked about that as a resistance point. Problem is, at that particular time, MyMed, MBIS were all going crazy. It didn't dip quite down to 720, which is where I thought there would be a good price to defend, but it is more than halfway there. So watch out for Tesla. If it drops any further, and there are some levels I like to defend, we talked about 720 in the pre-market, I'm going to go right back to it.
Okay, we're looking at more and more opportunities here to go, man. I mean, Apple, I'm debating averaging into this name. It's not moving as great. Oh, we didn't get out of AMC there. We'll have to look at AMC because, yeah, we don't want to hold that one too far to the downside, that's for sure. AMC, but yeah, Apple as well. NASDAQ pulling back in, so we got to find some outs here on some of these names, guys. Obviously, including Apple and including AMC. We did not get out there. I thought I got out of AMC in the 40s there, but we didn't, so must have just missed my offer. We got to do some work on AMC. I think this is just worth getting out. Let's put this now 65 cents in the money instead of 75. That's okay. We could take that hit, guys. But yeah, Apple definitely, sorry, AMC, missed opportunity. But here it comes. Let's just wait. I'm still in the mid 40s. Let's see if we get that.
Overfill.
AMC,
yeah, overfill, of course. I just overfilled on Coinbase there, so got a little bit out. Got out at that 300 and then an overfill on that 300 level to the short side for more shares than I wanted. So I'm going to trim that position and then try to hang on to the break. So 300 comes and goes, and yeah. So the initial long was good on Coinbase, and now that one's gone. I want to come over, if I can, Netflix, which I thought was going to be testing that 500, has bounced off that level. So a little bit of strength coming into Netflix. I don't know if it's Oscar-related. I tend to think that's a little bit bogus, that's going to be the move because of the Oscars. But there's that Coinbase. Breaks through that 300 level. Now, I did want to have a reversal. That's the key price level. But I had to trim some. That's going to be this out right here. Just too many shares, and I had to adjust very, very quickly on the fly. I'm not overly bearish, but it's a price action break to 300, thinking it can at least retest some of yesterday's close prices. Worth noting, when we talked about that Mara, it is still trending. So it broke that 34, showing some weakness overall in some of the crypto-related names. Mara looking weak. Coinbase only working the first time on that long. Now reversal to the short side as the momentum heads down.
Yeah, I'm going to look. I mean, I want to get into the long. I mean, obviously, a good talk there on Coinbase. I like to get long. I mean, I love me some Coinbase, that's for sure. We did get out of AMC there at 11:45, so thank God that comes right back to the upside. So that mooned a little bit today, guys, AMC, like off this level. So that's, again, it's not going to look too much prettier than that, other than the fact that maybe we could have bought on this dump back to the downside. Keep it down just a little bit there, guys. I know it's very exciting on the day there as we have Maggie. Actually, let's shout out to our production team. Let's give this shot right now. Let's show everybody super busy there today. Shout out to our lovely, there they are, all working. There, yeah, there's Rob. Yeah, up and down, up and down. So good. good job there, guys. Today, it's been a big one for us, but right now, we're just looking for more names. If you have anything else, the only names I'm holding right now, guys, MindMed, 20 cents in the money. Apple, 20 cents, was 20 cents in the money. So those are the only two names we have now. Let us know if there's anything else you're looking at. I still love AMD. Remember I said AMD, this was gonna be a huge week? Wow, $86, AMD already. Look at AMD, guys. Like, let's check dead money Intel for a second. AMD up 4% today. Let's just, and I may want to buy Intel because, again, they got beat. Nah, Intel's still down. Ugh. Yeah, we talked about that being dead money. And you saw the rotation last week. Very, very impressive today for AMD. Reporting tomorrow, Brendan at the big screen. A big one today, Ocugen. What's up?
Hey guys, yeah, small cap time. Let's have a look at a little bit of repetition, but we'll talk about Ocugen and that Microvision again. Microvision is still small cap, by the way. 11, clear support here in the pre-market down to about 1075 was the levels that I was kind of looking at. Felt really strong in the pre-market, just couldn't get through this 11 every time it was testing it. They were buying it up a couple of times in front of 11, so I did like this one to the long side versus 1075. Really didn't do much though, so we're still kind of chopping around. In front of 11, trying to hold right now, though, for OCGN. MVIS, yeah, it was pretty obvious this morning as well. All kinds of volume came in right at the open at the bottom end of the pre-market range, just in front of 1950. Had to stop there on the first attempt that got triggered, but had to take it again all the way to 23. Top end was 23 there, so trying to go again on MVIS. And INO, if you remember, big move down. We talked about it on Friday. Was coming into the top end of this range that it ended up forming throughout the day on Friday, which was just in front of 7 up to about 720. So we are above that now. So I did try this short initially, flipping long to see if we can't get back up into here from Friday, guys, on INO.
You mentioned that OCGN, it's finally making a bit of a bounce. So we've been waiting for this this shot. I mean, ever since they scaled out of it, when it broke that, well, it broke 11s. I got it in front of 11 on the short side. Been waiting for it to try to break back up and catch that 1165 area. Still can't seem to get itself going. Can't seem to get out of its way just yet. I kind of feel like there is a shot to it at some point, and we're going to try to catch it when it does. To the long side, I should say, at least. That MVIS did bounce a little bit deeper. Now it came back in, not quite to that sort of 2075 area where it initially had that breakout, but it did make a bit of a bounce. You're kind of looking at this 2065, and it's got a little range bound here. So you kind of look at this range and say to yourself, as long as it doesn't break the 65, it's longs in front of that 2070, 21. If you want to do any kind of a dip buying on this name, just to come back over, and we talked a little bit about the banks. I don't want to get too far away from, thank you very much, load up. From Wells Fargo, it is still trying to break out. Now it's at 44, 40 to 50 area that is still holding that high. It's up 1%. The market is trying to hold. At some point, if it can't go, I'm going to have to think about shorting it because when you have a level like this on the daily chart and you're testing up at those highs, when you get a failed breakthrough, and this is exactly what it's trying to do, is break through that 1440. Currently, it's not failed because it's still above it. But if it doesn't go soon, guys, take out that high, which I want to put my stop at. I'm going to think about shorting. Like I said, it's running out of time to get going. It's 44.60 on the breakout. And if by like 10:30 to 10:45, you're still looking to hold this 20-cent range, I'm going to short the bottom end of that range at 14.40. But let's get going to Wells Fargo. I wanted it to the upside. It can't seem to go yet.
So we're just holding two bangers right now. MindMed, 20 cents in the money, and exactly the same amount in the money here on Apple. So, good. One's a $3 stock. Well, was a $3 stock. One's now a $4.50 stock, and one is $134. So nice little move upside on Apple. Looking to get out. We sort of topped out here at 135.75, so I think that's probably worth getting one leg out right here for 35 cents. I know it doesn't seem like it's a lot on Apple, but we do take Churchill now to the long side as well, so let's see if Churchill wants to go. This is CCIV, so Churchill Capital 4. Now we do have a long at 50, so here goes CCIV. Like, again, man, do not. I repeat, like, do not stand in front of this stock as there. Did we just get that out? No, we did not. We're still waiting. I tried to get 71s there. We missed. Oh, it's because it went to 72. Let's get out. There we go. We'll take out 69. So there's a nice in and out. Now we'll hold half. We've seen this play out before over and over and over again. So we're going to hold out half as here we go, Churchill Capital. There it is. You guys talked about it. Thank you to Valeria for that one. So we go on a smile time here for CCIV. Continue to go to the upside. We take out half. Again, we'll see. You could take it out there. 75 just stopped and went there. So, yeah, maybe that was the high. Good thing we took some out, but we're smiling on that play. $25 may be coming. You could hold this one to the cows come home, but I don't think I'll be doing that one. Nice little move there. Like a little bit of a retracement back to this level. We'll get out. It'll be a loser, $21.95 if we get out, but I think it's worth doing that. And there goes Apple now. Thought it was going, was not. Up to 134.70 is where we want to get this out. So just a few more pennies. We'll get out of half, guys.
Yeah, and you're seeing, I wanted to be bullish on Coinbase, and maybe it has a shot here trying to retake that 300 level. You look at this, it got back up to like 301.5. That was a bit of a double bottom. That was the one that we were playing off of before. And until we get back above that, I have to play on the short side of the trade. It is what it is. That Occugen is still going to be the next look for me. It's very, very close to hitting that breakout point. I'm not I'm not looking for the high of the day. It was sort of similar to on Friday, like I keep saying over and over again. It just puts in that like methodical rollover, which is exactly the short that we had at about that time of day, and then it gets that little breakup. When I move that stop in, that was a breakout relative to the high of the day, sort of getting out in front of it. You kind of know where the support is at 11. If it breaks 65, so it's kind of a decently structured trade. That's why I like it. Someone had asked about NEO. Like I said, I hadn't seen anything too crazy, but there was a break of that 50 that immediately rejected back into this 41.30. I just kind of feel like it's not going to be as volatile as everyone wants going into those Tesla earnings. I don't know if that's going to be the entire space, but NIO sort of lulling me to sleep just a little bit. One name that isn't, and I know you guys are following along that CCIV, another name on the move in addition to that Naked Brands. There we go. BNGO, big time movement to the upside before getting faded in. Look at these lower highs getting put in. It looks like it's heading right towards a wedge at 640. From there, I think you have a potential breakout. So this one's on the radar. If it goes sort of sideways for a while here, we'll be looking for like a late morning break on BNGO. Haven't traded it yet today, but certainly popping up on the radar for me now.
So right now, I'm just going to, BNGO. Okay, there it is. So oopsies. Well, I wanted to cancel that, but we did take out some Apple there. Nice move, but it is having a problem. We were actually waiting for 64s, like this very top, but we took 59s there instead. So good move there. And by the way, oops. We did it again on CCIV there. Shout out to Brittany, all the way up to 23. This is a nice little 50-cent win. I think this is probably worth taking off now. Again, Randy talked about this. Well, didn't just out loud there. We talked about it. He's saying no way they're going to be involved with Apple or anything like that. So, you know what? I don't know. I don't know enough about it, but I tend to believe there might be something there. To me, this is well worth the risk. I'm actually just going to hold this back to flat. So make some money on this name, but it's breaking out. So a CCIV, man, this is a big win for me. This is another 50-cent winner on board. Wow, this day, very, very profitable one. What's up, Brando?
A couple of people talking about this one, Nano Dimensions. Remember, we mentioned this, I think it was back on Friday. It might have been Thursday even. NNDM, they picked up a little machine learning AI company end of last week. I'll double check on the date, but up again today nicely. Yeah, 7%. Getting back above some of these prior levels on the daily chart here. 775, good area to watch here for NNDM.
So I'm just noticing this Reviva Pharmaceutical holdings here. I'm not sure. I'll have to double check to see what the news is. I think they had like positive phase 2 on some kind of a schizophrenia trial, but it's now halted 1 time, 2 times, not a 3rd time just yet. But a big time mover here. Just going to double check to make sure that we got the news right on this name. Go to the daily chart just so you can quickly see. It is obviously up at that 60%, but worth keeping in perspective where it has come from and where it has not been able to go, and that's anywhere close to that $10 price. So I look at this previous floor here, and again on the daily, you kind of look at that as like 725, and where is it rejecting? It's rejecting 725 or so. That kind of sets up as test it once, key level on the daily chart, test it twice. Got to make sure I have locates on it first, but this is sort of screaming a bit of a short. But guys, watch out. It has halted a couple times, so it's not as if it has an overwhelming amount of liquidity on our VPH there.
Okay, so a good little call there on Apple. Thank God we were able to get out. Not thank God, I mean, we just hit the key. That we got out there on Apple. We still do have some upside. Not worried about this one, but again, if we do break back down below VWAP, we're not going to, we take that as a breakout there, hoping that we retest highs, and it just doesn't look like it wanted to get to 135. This is a monster week for all things tech. So we do expect some big things from some of these names this week, including Facebook. I still think AMD is a monster. AMD this time last year was $50, and then now today you're at $85. So a big move upside there. You can see the same thing in NVIDIA. You can see the same thing in a lot of these names. Micron. That's why I gave SMH was my pick for 2021, and that's up 30% or so this year. But AMD coming back down to this area, if we can get an 85 long, I definitely think it's worth parking something there. So I do want to wait to see if AMD can make up the difference there, back downside, give us an opportunity, because we did miss like 3%. They report tomorrow night. Like, what do you think they're going to do, right? That Intel report was so bad that it was so good for AMD, right? So you are going to watch out for that play coming. And then CCIV, look, it does go in the money 50 cents there, 23. We've now seen that come. So now maybe we can see what happens when it does break above that 23. But I still like CCIV. We're still long 50s. So that's a good trade. We're going to get out if it breaks back down below 40. And that's just my CCIV trade. You got to have an out. Oh, yeah. And then MindMed as well, guys. Just to give you an update on that, we did get out of MindMed here. It only goes as high as 70. This is 43 long, out 65. So that's another 25-cent win on MindMed. It's just that we're not holding it right now. MMED. No position. Maybe a long if it breaks above 71 or 72, guys.
Yeah, and we'll do with this one. It's going to drop the, whatever you call it, the money plane. We'll call it the money plane. Just quickly went over this RVPH, the lower high at that 725. It breaks. I got the 690s, and it's going to come right down to this initial dip price at 625. We'll take them out for a 50-cent win. And again, this might halt to the downside because of the liquidity that it has, but I got to think about taking profit off in this range. When you get an opportunity like that, you go ahead and do it. Actually, now that I say it, it's like, why look a gift horse in the mouth? Take some more profit out if it's going to bounce here. I'm no longer going to hold this back to the high of the day. This is rejecting that key level. It's like support turns into resistance on the daily chart. It then fails at that price. I short the pop into it. Now that it's bounced off VWAP, well, if it bounces off VWAP, I should say, you don't give it back to the high of the L. Give it to break even, and then no further. If it flushes even more than this, I think it'll go down maybe like a $6 range, and I'll just take this one off and quickly take that dollar.
Guys, it's just funny. Like, the only loser that we have on, I hear Brendan hitting keys, maybe he's in this one as well, was OCGN today. Like, look at this. You want to talk about getting that wick there. Like, wow. I don't know. It must have been on this 11 break was my out. But we went long 1150, and then now you're breaking back above here, 12 again. So we're just going to give this one more go. We could lose on OCGN. There's absolutely no doubt on that one. But, like, if you just, we're a little, like I said to you guys, you don't trade this thing with tight stops. Like, that one I did here, and that was a mistake. So I got to try to give this a little bit more to the downside, because this was what was a 50-cent loss, should have been a 50-cent win here. So we're going to go long again on OCGN and see if we do have something here. I like it. And look at CCIV. You want to talk about, let's do it. There, no, a little slow, that one. CCIV now breaking back above. We got another banger for you guys. What a big day this has been. What's up, B?
Hey, that was me, yeah. OCG, and like now it goes, of course. Velodyne, VLDR. So there's Microvision, there's Laser, and now this one, VLDR, just popping up. Finally got above some of these levels over here on the daily chart, and is holding, obviously, very strong. Volume on this one as well, the entire LiDAR group. To watch going forward, guys, let's have a look at what's going on across the pond. It's 10:30. That means there's an hour left in the session in Europe. Let's check with Miss V. What's going on, V?
Hey, Brennan, European markets are positive as strong metal prices boost miners, and optimism around reopening lockdowns lift travel stocks. Airlines, including IAG, Lufthansa, EasyJet, and Airbus, are all up around 3%. Back to you.
Yeah, even here we're seeing a little bit of a turnaround. There was initial weakness, though, in some of the travel names, but strength coming in, guys.
All right. Yeah. So right now it doesn't look like. Again, we just talked about OCGN. This may be the only losing stock that we have on board. And again, like OCGN right here, we're long. It's fine. We're out of the money now. CCIV, almost the opposite story as it goes to 23.40 right now. Wow. But now coming back in, maybe again every 50 cents there seems to be a little bit of an issue with CCIV. So like here at 22, here at 21.50, here at 21. So it just like motors through these levels. 23, I guess we had a problem with. So now to 23.50. I'm going to get this out, man. 23.30. If we can, let's get that out because this could be again. We don't want to. We have OCGN long. Some of these breakouts have been fantastic, including look at MVIS breakout. We talked about that one as well. Bang to the upside there again. Another long there. MVIS still going. Like we're long 20.80, guys. This is 22.80. That's a $2 winner. So you got to give these things a little bit of room, and I want to do that with OCGN because I've seen. The downside move here was a mistake getting out, obviously. So we're going to give this one a little bit back, maybe back to 11.50. We'll see. If it comes all the way back, we'll get out. It'll be obviously a loser there. OCGN trying to make some money, but it doesn't look like it wants to take out the top again, does it?
I don't know because I look at this move and it's slowing down right off those pre-market highs, I guess, and then you look at that dip that we shorted off of at 1170, and I say to myself, that's not a horrible place to look to load back into some shares here on a bit of a dip. It turned bullish around this time in that same summer setup, and I just bought the dip here myself to get myself, I had I had an entry off of this the 65 break that we talked about, and I got slipped a little bit there. This time I'll buy the dip a little bit more aggressively. That RVPH, so a new one coming in. Look, it's not that we're just going to trade what's on our watch list. Whatever's moving, we're going to come to it. So I actually noticed this one, and this is not a bad idea for you guys to have this page up at times. You just look at current trade halts, and I just simply saw this RVPH pop up when it halted initially at that like 935 range. I saw it was on the move, guys. So when you have something like this, it's not always the safest thing in the world to trade a stock which is halting over and over again for liquidity concerns, but it made that move. It's set up technically when you look at that 725 area. It's still pulling back in here. If it breaks 6, I'm now just going to hold on to the last 20% of the trade. If it breaks 6, I'll look back towards this like 560 to 575 area and maybe even take like $1.50 on this little winner here. And I wouldn't have seen it if I didn't have that like NASDAQ trader site up to look at current trading halts. That's how this one popped on my radar.
And a banger for CCIV, guys. It just continues to go upside. So, yeah, there it is, man. Look at this move. Like, that's $1. You want to, like, we're going to fire off the hot dog cannons again for this one, guys. A big move to the upside. We talked about watch out at 23. It's had some problems there. It just directly, straight upside there. Bounces. This is like in 1 minute, 40, 50 cents upside there. So that's a good little look for us on that one. OCGN trying to go again. And there it is, man. We did the same thing. We averaged in. And so that's a good trade for us there. We got long at 81 backside there. Comes right back to 97s. Get out. That's our price now. So we're long at, was that 97 or 98? Yeah, we got a 96 there. Our average price 98. So it's still a loser. So we're celebrating the fact that we're able to buy this dip, but I still think a breakout needs to happen here if I'm going to celebrate anything on OCGN. But that's a good win for us. That's for sure. CCIV though, roller coaster of a day. Not really. Unless you are only involved right now. At this part. Like right here, what a break that was. I think this is when Brendan and maybe Valeria talked about this, but I'm not going to look at this stock and not trade it. Nice move upside CCIV. You saw us crush Fisker last week. Same feels right now for CCIV. Churchill Capital. Look at this move. We tweeted this out. $1.20 now in the money. So it's a party every day at Trader TV Live. And if you like this so far today, make sure that you join us back again at 3:15. Keep saying 4:15. And then look at this out again here, man. Slaying the dragon that is AMC today. Just pretend Brendan. Hear that again. Pretend Brendan's AMC today. We basically have the full move here. We have 1075 long. We have this is only out of my last 20%. Out here at 1144. We talked about why we wanted that out in front of the 50. Right back into 11. A good trade. As CCIV, man, still Rip City to $24. Holla, big mover.
Yeah, and this one, of course, popped on the radars here. Now, bit of an iceberg on RVPH, guys. So I got out in front of 6. I thought we'd let it break, and then I saw it right on level 2 here, dump down to 6 even, and then just had refreshers at, the evens, the 1s, 2s, and 3s at every single price range. And look, if you're going to get a reversal like this on a stock which is shown you that it can halt to the upside a couple of times already on the session, it does have a positive catalyst to it as well, and clearly it's going to be a volatile name. You got to take the winners where they are, and you got to make sure you lock them in, guys. So I'm all done with this trade. I did finally get into Wells Fargo. As it made, it made a break at that 44.60. Basically isn't doing anything. Maybe if I was looking at playing the bounces instead of looking for it to take out that top on the daily chart, I would have had more success here. It's essentially a flat trade. I like the momentum in the name. The market isn't going absolutely crazy, but this is more along the lines of what can we do when we finally break the top on Wells Fargo. I know where the out is going to be, back down around that 35-40 range. Let's see if it can't follow through with me. OCGN, I got the reload as well, but I elected to make sure I take some of it off. That's on my daily chart. Make sure that I take some of it off on the way back to the upside and see if we can't hold through a fresh high at 12.13. So reverse from that short trade. This time we actually went reversal until long as we're talking through the relative strength that it was showing when it got down to 11, and we actually reversed the short this time as opposed to not doing it on a Friday. Here it is through high of the day. Let's see if we can get the actual break on OCGN. If it does make that move, look at what happened here at like 12.25. This is probably the reason why you're stalling out at 12.13. Before the offering, this was a bit of a shelf here at that 12 mark, 12 to 12.15 mark. If it breaks through that, you're looking at like 60s to 70s as a great target.
Yeah, I mean, we're still hammering that OCGN, and what a great trade that is. Of course, Apple, we're trying to hammer it. Well, we're not really trying. We are in it. We're trying to get this thing up to 135. I can't, we can't move Apple. We're just watching the market here to see where it wants to go. But yeah, big winners all abound, man. 12.5 cents now on OCGN, trying to go. We just got some 08s there. So that was good, but initially our long was through 12, our long was through 11.60. Those are good trades, and I just noticed there from Brendo too, guys. MVIS, you want to talk about another Superman trade there? Look at this, guys. Off some of these levels, like I don't know. I mean, MVIS is right here on the sticky note as well. 20.80 right now, 23.80. So a nice move there. And OCGN, you see that one ripping to the high side, and CCIV coming back in a bit. So let's see what happens around this 23.20 level here for CCIV. Maybe the moon is over, but we've seen this stop and go before. So CCIV coming back to the downside now.
And speaking of downside, I'm still like this SPAC is literally doing nothing, but the longer it holds at 1040, and I'm still sitting here shorting if 1040 breaks, the longer it holds this, I just think it's the better the trade, guys. So it's now been a half an hour and it can't bounce off this level. Yeah, give me a break. If it breaks this, I'm still going short. SEEH. Looks like it's headed anywhere but upside. Brendan is heading to the big screen to give you guys Sector Watch.
It is that time once again. Let's have a look at the S&P 500. Nicely positive on the day. I mean, not a huge move. It's 0.25%, but hey, it's positivity, right? Let's have a look at what is leading the way. I just wanted to mention these right out of the gate here. Etsy and Best Buy, a couple of, well, not retailers, but online retailer, Best Buy and Etsy both downgraded today. So standing out among the decliners, everything else pretty positive right across the entire board. The industrial group, the materials group here, FCX, ALB, and MOS, they all had very, very negative weeks last week, trying to bounce back a little bit this week. But FCX in particular there, 6.4% to the upside. Technology stocks, though, leading the way today. The hardware equipment makers here, WDC and STX among the leaders. We mentioned Skyworks, 4% now. On an upgrade, that's all-time highs for SWKS. XL, NX, AMD is here, AMAT, QCOM, pick one, they're all very strong. ACAM down here in the software makers, also in positive territory, 5% for that. The entire banking sector is in positive territory. There are a few here negative, but very, very strong. The banks, the insurance companies, pretty much the whole board. Consumer staples, far corner over here. In negative territory, offsetting some of the food names and also the home retailers, the cleaning type names, all going to be in negative territory. Communication stocks, Discovery, Twitter leading the way, 1.9 and 1.5% overall. But otherwise pretty positive, about 0.25% for the overall market. Let's go back to Sean.
So we'll do a little bit of a dance because OCGN, man, so far our levels, like we thought that we had some pretty hot levels on Friday for you, and it's the same two names, man. OCGN and MVIS just both still going, man. MVIS, a very, very impressive name. That is for sure, as that keeps going upside as well. But MVIS making moves. CCIV, Churchill, we got out there on that dip. It broke 50s. We talked about getting out on the 50s, so we do give up that 50 cents from its high, actually maybe even more. But there it is, man. Long at 22.50, out 23.50, so 50 cents there, $1 there. We did have that $2 or so in the money, but it does come back down. I'm thinking about a 24.05 break to get back in to OCGN. I do like, or sorry, Churchill. I do like that, but it's just, again, with the kind of information that's out there right now, we'll have to wait to see if it's going to be confirmed about Apple. Great, but this seems like a big move here on what, you know, nothing really overly confirmed from CCIV, guys. So what's up, Brendan or V?
Miss V.
Hey Sean, NIO is very popular name on the chat today. Stock made a V-shaped recovery and now is up more than 2%, guys.
Yeah. We wrote down NEO to get long. I mean, it's on my board there, but I thought we would get long back to 41. So I told you guys on Friday that we would write down NEO on our board and make sure that we did have it. It's right at the bottom there, back to 41. And of course, like, I get unplugged today because there's the play. Like, can we do any better than basically giving the exact level and then not doing anything about it? So it comes right back down. Like, that goes from 42. Like, well, I wrote that at 42, right? Goes from 42 all the way back to 41, and I don't do anything about it, and then it rips to the high side. So that's a big miss opportunity for $1 there. But let's talk about moving forward. We can't do anything about a mistrade other than, you know, hit the Superman for you, Miss V, because OCGN now, Rip City as well. That's 50 cents now in the money. But NEO right here, okay, back to this consolidation. I like this trade. So if we can get back to 41.60, 41.70 or so on NEO and look at this VWAP, that's a good possibility as well. What time is it? 10:44. So let's just go down to a 3-minute chart, have another look on this one. Yeah, so it's the same kind of consolidation. Top side right here. We're trying to work our way through this. It's up 1.97%. The NASDAQ, when it was negative, we talked about it going positive. 41.80. Yeah, I think it's got to come back in here. So let's put some bids back, 41.60, 65.70 or so. See if NEO does come back to life a little bit here. But yeah, thanks for bringing it up, guys. But yeah, it's on the sticky note, back to 41. It's just one of those trades that I did miss. Apple going as well right now. Yeah, I mean, look, you're not going to hit every single trade. That's why follow along with the preparation. Make sure you come here early so you catch all of the morning show. And I feel like we haven't said this today, but if you think it's active enough today, watch out for the close. I mean, we have Tesla earnings coming today, so I kind of figure the last hour of the session is going to be interesting. Maybe in NIO as well, Sean. It related to it, of course. They don't trade till later on in the week, have the earnings till later on. But we're right back at 3:15 every single day into the close. Power hour is crazy. But when you have a third of the S&P 500 reporting, it's likely to be, it's always the best week or best day for that show, that afternoon show. But I guarantee it's going to be a banger every single day of the week with these earnings coming through. I'd mentioned that BNGO had popped up on the radar for me. It's now held a lower high, so I kind of thought we were making a wedge at 640. Instead, it breaks to the upside, cannot take out this lower high that was put in at 55s and is headed straight back down. So that's not exactly the formation I was thinking was going to happen for a long break. I'd probably look at the top end having to go at this point, and then you'd be shorting in the 55 range. So bit of a change of plans there. I was only sort of looking for a place to go long on BNGO. Now, I'm kind of thinking that is a fadeable move off of 55 to like 60s, let's call it. So it's a $6 stock. It's got a tight range. Obviously, it hasn't moving too much. It's looking like it's trying to go, just not anywhere yet. And yeah, Wells Fargo's doing absolutely nothing. So that's kind of, I suppose, I should say OCGN. Frustrating me is the only thing I can say. OCGN breaking highs. That continues to run in the money here. We had the dip buy, haven't taken it off yet. But remember what we showed you guys on that higher time frame. If it breaks through this target, it breaks through this little chop it had on Friday, you're looking at like a 1270 to 1280, I think, to the upside. So a 50 break might even scalp you something. Brendo?
Casper, guys, we talked about this one very early on this morning on this initial move. I think it was 850 around here we were talking about it. But I mean, 30% on a Wed Bush upgrade. Like, this is intense volume as well for CSPR, guys.
Yeah, so Casper, I mean, you're going to get those huge, I mean, that's what I'm hoping that we can eventually get from PaySafe, some nice little bumps. We'll check PaySafe in a minute, but that's CSPR, right? CSPR over there on Casper again. So let's have a quick look. Yeah, you know why? Because it was just so beat down right off IPO. Where was its IPO price? Yeah, so comes out, I don't know, it came a couple years, last year, I believe, anyways. We'll find out what it was, but a beat down name right into this teeth down here. I'm gonna try to find a longer time frame, but yeah, you got to trade stock that is going like this. So a nice little upgrade there. I don't know, stay at home play for mattresses maybe, but yeah, Casper to the upside there. Be interesting to hear. And I missed sort of the reason for the upgrade, but yeah, up to $9. I don't know. This one may be overextended. It's above its 50 period. If it was still below and we were able to take like this price, 780, 790, maybe something on Casper. But the high right now, 910. Let's see if it does take that out. How wrong were we on CCIV getting out? It looks to be okay as it's all the way back to the downside there. But we're still watching Churchill for you guys.
Yeah, I just sort of noticed, someone was mentioning, someone threw the name Fisker out there, and I didn't even notice that this made this type of a move. Came right back into, if you look at last week, and I'm going to go into last week, of course, 1325, I want to call it. It was a wick down, and then a monster recovery after, look, it had that big gap down that we were talking about at the time. And that was the support level. It flushed back, made a higher low off of it. So the fact that you're holding above, I like this 1335 because you know where your out is likely to be at that 1320. At least if you're bottom picking at this particular time of day, I kind of feel like you want to have yourself a bit of an out if you're going counter trend. The market overall is just not going too far here. And I come back into Tesla, and we talked about 750. Sort of ad nauseum there. And yeah, okay, so it fell off that 750 mark. Couldn't break down to where I would have liked support. Now it's trying to take out this 740. I mean, consolidation, all off of what seemed like a level in the pre-market. So I kind of look at this 740 and say to myself, giddy up. If you want to make another test of 750, guess what has to happen first? It's got to break 740. It's tried a couple of times here, and then on this retracement, gone like $3. So going nowhere off that little rebound. I like it for a go time trade. Let's go 740 to the long side on Tesla. Obviously, we like 750, but if it's not there, it's not there. You got to trade what's in front of you. And OCGN pulls back. I'm not going to average in this time. I kind of thought we might turn around at 1250 or so. The pullback was at 1235 instead.
So Apple goes, yeah, we actually got a real spicy out there at OCGN, guys. Wow, that was loud.
What was that?
Okay, 1240, like that is the high of the day. We got 38s there on OCGN. Now we hold a petit peu, a small position right now on OCGN. So yeah, we'll see. We'll go to the high side. Shout out to my wife that speaks French. We get taught it here, but there's no way I learned anything in that class. Okay, 135, 134. I mean, I learned something.
I blame Bennett.
Bonjour, au revoir, stuff like that. Un, deux, trois. I think that's about it. Cat croissant. Yeah, good one, Valeria. Okay, now we'll go upside. This is why I'm so happy to sit beside Valeria there with a killer right there again. 134.80. I mean, Apple just having problems right now. We're 40 cents in the money on this name. The NASDAQ's making new highs. I think Apple definitely needs to be held, but again, it's struggling to the high side. If you're in this trade with me, I'm going to hold it. But a winner's a winner, and it's not moving. So we're going to go negative on only one stock today, which is crazy. It's OCGN, which is well above the break levels that we gave. It's just unfortunately, we have this El Tickeroony down here breaking through 11. So that was a problem. That's that 50-cent hit. But we are back long, 1182, and then long again there. Made some money back. Still a negative stock, but hey, I mean, when you trade this many names and you go 0 for, we get one negative, we'll take it on the day. And it's not about positive or negative, just understand sort of where we're at with some of this stuff, and we'll move forward from here. But that's a good trade. And then Neo, it came right back. That was another name there. I was debating pulling the trigger. It came back into this level here. This is a 1-minute chart into the 70s. Believe it or not, I was waiting at 66. So I bumped that up to 71, and it only came back down to 75. So we're trying to get long Neo in the 70s as discussed. But right now, that's going to take a little bit of time as the market ripping. So we'll get lucky if Neo comes down and fills us. Nice little move here in Apple as that's taking out day's high.
Yeah. And of course, Tesla breaks that 740. I'll take some out flat when it doesn't immediately go, and then see if we can't hold the rest while we send you over to Money Talks, the big screen with Brendan.
Hey guys, yeah, currency time. Let's have a quick look at what is happening so far today in currency world. Very positive right across the board once again today. Through the dollar index up here today on a daily time frame. So this is a daily chart. I was mentioning over the past couple of days, if you joined us, the US dollar weakness that continues to be kind of the theme going forward. So going back to, this is the beginning of the month. We've been going straight down essentially for the US dollar. It actually just broke 91 on Friday. So back below 91 for the DXY, down again today, unfortunately, but a lot of these going to be higher as a result. The Canadian dollar, one of those 0.75%, in fact, to the upside. Almost 81 now for the Canadian dollar. British pound, 0.2 to the upside. Japanese yen, Swiss franc, kind of break even to slightly lower even at some points. With some volatility coming off of the market once again. Australia and New Zealand both significantly higher, similar to the CAD today, you can see. And then crypto's big time moves once again. Ripple, the big standout, 12%, 7.5% for Ethereum. Yeah, close to all-time highs once again. Bitcoin, a nice 6% bounce back. It was holding nicely above 53,000, guys. Back to you.
Hold. Do what you do. I talked about this OCGN, and look, if you have a target like this, and I'm kind of saying to myself, okay, like 1250, threw the offer out there, and then you get this kind of flush down. So it's a failure point. Well, I mean, it's a pullback point off of what I kind of thought was going to be a good profit take area. I got to think about not averaging back into it. You get the break, and it was that 1165 that I was shorting off of earlier. And I wouldn't have had this long if I wasn't shorting at this price. That's just the reality. When the price action shows me that bit of a reverse, I missed it on Friday, getting out and then not reversing. It feels like it's not quite as strong, and if there's going to be another buying opportunity, it's likely to be back down, I think, in the 30 to 40 range on OCGN, just sort of running out of steam a little bit. I told you guys I'd be in that SEAH. It finally breaks that 40s. I got slipped down to 36. I feel like this particular SPAC is headed right back to that $10 number. So I'll just be short as long as it's below. If it's below VWAP and it hasn't hit 10 yet, then I'm likely to be short. That's the name of the game in this name. And then I talked about Tesla. So it tries to break through that. Of course, it's on the NASDAQ. Don't do it to me. If you don't get it the first time, we flip so fast around here, too fast in the keys. Get in and out very, very quickly. If I'm doing a breakout trade and immediately the bid can't follow it up, I take some off, especially if I want to have a reload opportunity. So it's a fail break there. I get most of it out flat, and then I look to see if I can't catch a bit of a bid. So I'll hang on to some of my shares there at that 05 price, so from 740.05 that is. And if it wants to test lower into the range, it hasn't been so far able to go past about 3 to 350 when it comes to a retracement. So you look at that 735 to 736 is not a bad kill zone. They kind of know where I'm going to be wrong on this trade. And look, this is playing Tesla into earnings here. It doesn't mean that it has to go absolutely nuts. I do feel like the fact that it didn't test pre-market lows and is trying to break that 740 means we should at least have a shot to get up into that 750 range again, where you know there's likely to be resistance. I'm not saying I'm putting the pink shorts on, but there's a decent chance that they could happen if we see that 740 range, 750 at some point today. Unfortunately, just got the average in there. So if we can hold this 735, Tesla will be a go. Otherwise, I'll turn in a losing trade. Now, we had a couple on that Coinbase fiasco at $300. The first one, if I was one and done, would have been fantastic. Now we'll see what happens when Tesla tries to test down to that 735 range. If it bounces, fair, we'll take some profit inside of the range and look for another break of 740. Otherwise, walk away, and then the next level I would only defend is about that 720 we talked about in the pre-market.
We went and got some fruit salad, so welcome to fruit salad time. We're gonna hit the thing. This is funny because if you notice on here, there's actually flying avocados. Like, I'm not sure of a fruit salad that has avocados in it, but there are some flying avocados. Oh, maybe it's not right there. Oh, no, it's on the logo, but it's funny. Anyways, today's fruit salad brought to you by the same fruits as Friday. Let's hope that they're freshly cut. We have some cantaloupe, honeydew melon, and I don't know, I mean, whoa, red or green grapes? I'm going to ask both Brendan and Neil at this point. Do you prefer red or green grapes? And those of you in the chat, please pipe in as well. First, let's go to Brendan.
How are you thinking about this?
Is both an option?
No.
I like grapes. Why
Pick
not?
one.
Both.
Green.
Okay, so Brendan is a grape aficionado. He loves
Definitely.
all grapes, so there's nothing wrong with that. Neil's going with green. I'm going with green too. I like a little more tart in the green,
Yes.
so I think it's like a little more like refreshing, the green grapes. But being Italian, I do like some other kind of grapes as well that happen to be red. So there are some nice red grape options as well. But Neil, I heard green from you, right?
Oh, 100% you heard green from me. Like, don't get me wrong. Like I used to be like a red wine only kind of person, but now I'm just like, maybe it's age. I kind of look at the white wines a heck of a lot more than I used to. I don't know. It is what it is. But I got to go back to trading here because OCGN, it's giving me some, like I said, I wasn't going to average in or wasn't going to buy more shares until it got down to the 30s and 40s. I see it snap back down here, and it's looking at least a little bit enticing, if only because you just saw it there. Like every time it's just snapped down like 70s. See a bit of a bid try to step up here. So it's kind of waging a bit of a battle in the 60s, which I thought was going to happen down around 35 to 40. This is essentially where we got in. Last price was at 80. Initial break, of course, was at this 65 range. So if it's back at the exact same price where I thought there was going to be a breakout, and it does this, usually that's going to be pick up some more shares and try to catch a little bit of a bounce. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. Changing plan based on what I sort of saw there on the level 2. There is a level to defend at 1135. It's not about throwing away profits that you've made on a stock, but when you're scalping, you kind of have to look at the price action and where there is some, what's the word, like acceptance of a price area, at least in terms of the bid. I thought it would be at 35, but when I see it happening at 65, and that was a key price before, I can't ignore it. That's where I'll buy the dip.
Okay, so I did want to just look at the chat here quickly because someone hit it out of the ballpark here. Digital here, yeah. So I didn't even know cotton candy grapes were a thing. I know cotton candy apples are a thing because when we went apple picking, they were my kids were loving cotton candy. Or no, it's bubble gum, I think it was. Bubblegum apples. But anyways, these are a thing. So this is why I bring this up, because my wife the other day brought home a bag of cotton candy grapes, and my 6-year-old and 9-year-old, needless to say, those grapes did not last very long. They're big, they're juicy, and they are tasty. Cotton candy grapes. I'm switching my choice, but they're green. But so still the same kind of thing. And then DS, yeah. There's no doubt avocado is a fruit. I mean, that is 100%. There is no doubt about it.
Doesn't mean it goes in a fruit salad.
But it's just like, does it have a place in a nice juicy fruit salad?
Of course not.
That was the whole thing about the avocado. So I love avocados. Avocado on toast. My wife makes this beautiful pasta dish, put some avocado on top of there, but it's spaghetti squash. So it's very beautiful, and it's with a buffalo chicken, yummy. One of my favorite. Shout out to, I wonder what's for dinner tonight. I'll let you guys know. But okay, Apple doesn't matter. Apple right now, we'll let you know what's for lunch. More importantly, join us back at 3:15, and we'll talk about what we had for lunch. There's Apple fail. That, again, we talked about that. We should have probably taken some profit there. We were waiting for Apple to break the high. This one's definitely on me to take that out up there. So that's why we talked about it. Again, I know a lot of you follow the trades that we make, but this was one where I sort of thought Apple didn't want to go. It was having problems right here at 75. So we're going to put another order there, try to get out if it does, well, maybe not. If it does rip to the high side, I don't even want to average into this Apple. We might just take this out for flat and call it a day, but we missed the opportunity there on Apple. That was my bad. But look what opportunity we don't miss. Let's ring the registers on this one, guys. NEO to 94 from 71. So bang, there it is. We get NEO out there. Nice trade through 94. Take that, put that in our pipe and smoke that one as NEO, just nice little win. We told you where we were waiting, and there it is. Executed perfectly, not like spilled milk. We're not crying this time, but we will if it comes back down and we miss it again, putting another order at 70s, guys.
Yeah, and there goes BNGO. I would have loved to see this actually form that wedge at 40s, and then you pick up a price lower. It came to the upside, then shot up. And again, how you get a trade always matters. I would have liked to have shorted it off that 55s into 58, but big time volume spike is like no go. Pass it and then look for the long end break. It hasn't been able to go past that 65 mark, but this is on volume, and I'll kind of do this so you can see on extreme. It's an on volume spike, so I'm willing to give it into that 675 range. Looks like it was a legitimate breakout. Again, you can always want the stock to give you an entry a certain way, but if it doesn't happen, you have to be able to change your plan. I changed it to the top end breaks. That's what we're going to go with here. Ocugen was the other name that we changed on the fly. So I did pick some more shares up in that 60 range, 75 average price. If it gets into this cluster in front of 12, certainly going to be worth like scalping some off. I mean, that's been a profitable way to do it. However, the mistake I made last time with entries here and then getting out between 11.85 and 12.10 was not getting anything in the 30s and 40s. So if we break out through 12 again, I will take some out at that 12 quarter range. You do not look a gift horse in the mouth if you can at all avoid it, because it's scary and it looks like that, and sometimes it's a little bit gross. And if that freaks you out, apologies to everybody. What freaks me out is that, okay, fine, like just got some out there on Ocugen, so that's been okay. What hasn't been okay is why can't, look, you're up 2%, you're breaking out to some fresh highs, but the problem with Wells Fargo, and I'll be honest with you, the problem with Wells Fargo is the market's not doing a heck of a lot, right? So there's a very slim chance that this is actually going to get any kind of a big win, despite the fact it's in the money, it's holding the top, it's breaking out. There's not a lot of acceleration to the upside here, and the banks have sort of had their hay and then come and gone. So it is what it is. We'll take whatever scalp trade we can get out of it. I'm not sure we get anything better than the 3/4 and then that 45 range is the best case scenario. I might have to trim this one and start thinking about a tighter stop because it's simply not going, and you don't want to be trading stocks that aren't moving. Bingo's now moving. OCGN's moving. Tesla's moving as well. We just got that little bit of a scalp trade. And just to go back to Tesla, we know they report earnings here. One of the things I love about taking a breakout and then just being willing to take some of it out immediately when it doesn't go, it allows you the little reload. Now if this trade fails, okay, I had the range we identified from that 36 up to 40. I can buy the dip, I can scalp some off, and then if it breaks lower and I lose on the trade, you're lightening the load of that loss. You're not holding the entire boat at 740, and then you've made some back scalping from 36 half up into like 39 or so. So you put a couple of dollars in your pocket that way. So if it does give you a failure and you don't get that extended move into the 45, 46, 47 that you want, it's not an abject failure. Now, you have to be an active trader who's going to be in and out actively to make that happen for you. Multiple entries, multiple exits. That's a style thing, but that's how we sort of describe our thought process. So I'm not just sitting here punching along 740 and putting my hands up and throwing a stop at 736. You could, not unreasonable risk to reward, just not the way that I've approached it.
Okay, yeah, good look there on Tesla. Look, we got out of NEO way too early there. Yeah, so that was a big opportunity missed. 41.70 out right there, 41.94. We ring the Reggie on it, but still upside, a lot of upside on NIO. Thank you guys for bringing that obviously to my attention earlier as NEO just continues, man, to make upside moves. Good call on that one. OCGN ripping, MVIS ripping, CCIV, let's just check back. Apple now back similarly to these levels of 70. It does hit it again and then fades back down. I think we got to take this out. Although the NASDAQ can still bounce, man. It can still go. I think Tesla blows out tonight. I don't know about blow up, but they'll beat tonight. So I'm looking for that to go higher as well. What's up, Brendan?
QLGN, a couple of people just talking about this one. I saw a tag 250 a little bit earlier, but coming off a little bit, 18% to the upside. The only thing I see is there's some rumors about a possible COVID-19 treatment or therapeutic coming second quarter of this year. So up on that news, it looks like today, guys.
So I just want to say, like, shout out to Will here. Like, yeah, you're giving super chats all the time. I just honestly, I missed what it was there. You better with Miss V. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, we're all better with Miss V here, that's for sure. I still don't see, I don't know what your super chat was there, Will. I'll still try to find it. I don't see it there. You're dodging on my super chats. Maybe V has it and I will get to it, but that's that, Will. Sorry, it's just so, mind you, I've only had 160 fills today in trying to do the best I can for everybody on the show. So especially for you, Will, because you have been a good super chat guy in the past. So thank you so much. And it doesn't matter. If I can see any questions, I'll get to them. That's why Valeria goes to the screen and does some work for us on that. Because honestly, guys, for Neil and I and Brendan, it's like, it's
a whirlwind.
It's very hard to see what's going on. Okay, so NEO, a big one. Thank you, Will, anyways, for your continued support. I will get to the question once I do see it. So what's up with that? Okay, AMD, more love to hear. We were waiting for this. Phil never came down 85s. They're trying to test that. We did talk about getting longer, though, into AMD here. The only position I'm looking at right now, again, not upset, but NEO does go higher. We're going to get longer if it comes in there. And then, you can see what I have on board right now. OCGN, long rate here. Let's see if it takes out the top. I want to hold for that move. And then Apple, we're still waiting for 135.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and we'll do an old school. We'll kick it old school because you're making me hungry around here. Well, the Timbits, Randy, were making me hungry when I had a couple. But OCGM, we're gonna get that scalp trade. It's the same area that we got up before when we got, took profits before when we got this long off that 65, 70 entry. And this time, if it breaks into this like 25, yeah, I mean, I'm going to take profit, like I said. You almost have to. You got to be willing to take that profit when it's there. BNGO was another name. It finally made a bit of a push here. I was waiting for a deeper pullback, maybe into the 55s to add to this, so I didn't actually get more shares. If it comes to that 675, I'll take another leg out, sort of sit on the offer there. I mean, it's not a tremendous amount, of course, this didn't flip for me. It's not a tremendous amount of shares that are sitting there at that 675, but it's like the first level that actually has anything to it, like 30, 40,000 shares popping up at least a couple of seconds ago. So if it does break that, I do want to hold on and see how far it'll go. It's up to like 10% on the session. Keep that in mind. So strong move for BNGO. I really would have liked it if it had made this consolidation at 40s. It happened at 50s, which meant the top end break was going to be the entry for me. It is what it is, guys. You take what you can. And then coming over to like sloppy Wells Fargo, can't go. And I said, if you're trading something that's not moving, don't get married to the position. If I'm frustrated, I kind of liked it on the daily chart. I looked at it today. Let's take that breakout. We take the break and go 62s. Can't do a damn thing to that upside. It stops moving. I just get out right here for a small loss because I simply don't want to be in the position that's wasting my time. And that's basically what's happening in WFC.
Yeah, Valeria just sent me the note there, and it was about the grape commentary. So thank you so much for Will on that one. Yeah, and look, you're good too, man. Thank you so much for all the love there that we continue to get on the show. I mean, it means a lot to us. It's 11:08. We do have MindMed coming tomorrow, and then we do have also coming up after the show, man. Join us live. 3:15, we're back, baby, for more trading. You're going to see, hopefully, Tesla, some movement in the aftermarket. I don't know. The report normally comes around 5-ish, 4:30-ish, never comes right at 4. So Elon likes to make people wait. Elon Musk, by the way, the host of Saturday Night Live, May 8th. Elon Musk on Saturday Night Live. If that's not worth watching, then yeah, you may want to put the kids to bed and get ready. Well, hopefully they're in bed by that time, but get your popcorn ready. It should be fun anyways. I don't know. I mean, not much of an actor, I guess, but still a character. I'm really interested to see Elon Musk come through on Saturday Night Live. So that's a good one. Okay, OCGN, I see you. Let's get the cash cow. Let's see if this one can continue to go upside. The only loser we have on board today is OCGN, so not happy about it, but the levels have been cash money, man. We gave it to you right here, 12. That's been a good level, but really just an actionable level. Only gave you this one move there. We did take 1150 off the pre-market break, and that's where this happened. We got out on the 11 break. That turns out to be the very bottom. That's why this is our losing trade of the day. But now we're waiting for higher, higher, higher. I got some 13 fields for you, OCGN.
Yeah, I'd like to see it make that move, but I'm going to continue to scalp it in that range until it gives you that breakout eventually. The one that got away, and it's sort of frustrating here because it kind of feels like, you know, like Coinbase is, it's weird to say this, but when Coinbase is down, I'm like, I'm not happy as someone that owns Coinbase, but then suddenly I actually make money when I'm day trading it. On a day that it's actually up 4% and trying to hold those gains, I'm like, okay, one and done, dip off of 301. I get impatient with a breakout. That doesn't work. I sort of buy in front of the dip. That doesn't work, and I reverse into a short. Then again, tight stop. And it's like I'm sitting there and I should only make that one trade. Get kind of anxious, well, not anxious. You get excited about the fact that it's finally making a move to the upside. You get that bounce back in Bitcoin, and the fact that I love it. I don't know. I feel like I overtraded this one today, so I'm gonna, if I can face slap myself for overtrading this name. I don't know where we have too many pages here. There we go. I'm gonna face slap myself for overtrading Coinbase, where I like the buy dip in front of 301. When it didn't work the second time, just walk away from it. The level's gone. Maybe it'll retest 290 or 291 where the close was yesterday. At that point, you can rinse and repeat. Breakouts, whatever. Buying dips at good prices has been the way to trade this stock, at least in the day trade for me the last few weeks. The fact that I did anything but that today is kind of ridiculous. You always stick to what works. That's the name of the game. That's what you should be doing. It hasn't worked yet, but it's like, what is going on with this, like this silly SPAC, this SEAH? Talk about doing nothing. It finally breaks that floor and then puts in another one, like 10 cents lower. So like, give me a break. At some point, if this breaks the actual low in the pre-market at 10:30, I might just take even more of this. Volume is dying on it. Yes, it could gear up, but I know I'm getting out at 1050 anyways. And this SPAC just has no volume to it. There's been no secondary move. So I feel like if it breaks low at some point, it's going to flush and is worth it. And I have an obvious stop at that 1050 area where it was trying to go. This was the range off of 1040. It couldn't break that 1050 for a long period of time. So you kind of know if it retraces it out at 1050, not even waiting for VWAP on SEAH. Brendo?
We saw this laser pop up here. I just wanted to double check. Yeah, it was 10 o'clock. So that headline came out right at 10 o'clock. The good news, really nothing has happened since then. It's up anyways on the day with the rest of the group at 25. Bit of a pivot here. They're teaming up with Airbus, guys. So Luminar with a new deal involving Airbus. So heads up on Luminar.
Uh-oh.
Okay, guys, from over trading Coinbase and not trading it enough, I'm in Coinbase right now, 301.70. So again, nicely, I mean, whatever, it's 75 cents in the money. We don't take that kind of profit. We're going to wait for this break. Let's see if it could get up to 303 or so. We got to give this one back at least a 300 break. So we're going to try on Coinbase now. As the NASDAQ making new highs, we're long Coinbase right now. So here we go, guys. Again, there's the opportunity to take off 75 cents. We're not going to do that. We're going to wait for a little bit, 50 cents. We're going to wait for a little bit higher, obviously, on Coinbase. I'm looking at this break right here, 303.50. May slip out if we can, if we're lucky enough for $2 winner on Coinbase, but we're going to wait on it anyways. I still think there is some nice upside there for coin, needless to say. OCGN, not really doing too much right now. We just talked about that. And then here's Apple right back to these levels on a high note. So this probably now a level that I want to take this out on. So Apple is the same level as before, 59.60. We're testing 70 again. So for me, I think, whoops, it's a NASDAQ stock. I'm thinking that we just put an offer out right now. There it is. So we just got hit out at 64. So Apple, again, long 40s, out 60s, 20 cents, and then take 25 cents right there as we get out at 64, 65. So back to back there, put in total, 50 cents in total on Apple. But again, guys, I really like the long here on Apple. So it's just a matter of waiting for it to come in. I'd rather get longer down here. We probably should have averaged in. It never gave us an opportunity to average in near VWAP. So let's just take that out and see if it's range bound, which would make sense if we were range bound on this thing because, again, big week for earnings. Let's see what Apple wants to do this week. But for right now, good scalp on that one. CCIV, looks like we had a good out on that name as well. Up here, 23.50. It's bounced off there a couple times here and then here again. So far, so good on CCIV as we only have 14 minutes left. And then Coinbase, again, it goes right to VWAP, putting us in the money. Where are we long at? 71. So that there was that 90 cents there. It does touch it, though, Coinbase, before falling back down. So I'm going to give this one to 300. If it goes down, hey, man, it goes down. That is Coinbase. But similarly, I'm buying this thing off every dip. So I do like Coinbase for the long term, needless to say.
Yeah, I mean, certainly. And speaking of buying off dips, not that I have ever owned ZOM and ever would probably, but here's $1. A move right into one even that I missed this one. Thank you guys for pointing out there in the chat because you want to make sure you're trading what's moving on the session. And this just made a break upside right to $1 even. I want to show you last week's action. It did have some rejection of this dollar area break. I mean, one time, 2 times it failed to break through $1. And penny stock status is a psychological thing. Now that it's held $1, I'm gonna love this one. And look, I'm willing to lose on a trade if shorting in front of $1 almost every single time in a penny stock. So I'm going to have something 99 to 99.5, maybe even a little bit in front of it to the short side, and then just maybe do a bit of a reversal at that one even. It's always worth it, at least in my opinion, especially when you get an extended move up. It's up 5%. It is what it is. I know a lot of people are bullish on it. If I saw a gigantic level, I don't really see anything too crazy when I went down deep into the book. It's maybe like 50, 60,000 shares that I can see on the bid. A little bit more than that on some of the other books. If I see anything crazy, I would let you guys know in terms of a support level or resistance level, I should say. But I'm just testing it because it's already rejected that dollar once. And if it does it again, there's a nice scalp trade probably back into VWAP for it. And there's always a breakout that could even be later in the day. Brendo?
I read this on the weekend and kind of passed over it thinking it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But the EU guys on the weekend came out saying they're going to allow U.S. travelers to visit this summer as long as people are vaccinated. So it was noting a few. This is just AAL, but there's a few of the airlines up nicely today. So a little bit of positive catalyst on the travel front coming this weekend, guys.
Yeah, so,
Travel.
oh yeah, AAL, UAL, LUV for Southwest, a bunch. The most beat down name still continues to be UAL, and that's because of the international travel and that note there, obviously regarding domestic travel. So yeah, I just hope we get back going. The vaccine's finally starting to roll out here in Ontario, which is nice because we were, the laughing stock for a while for major metropolises. This is a nice word to say here about MindMed. What do we expect? And where's the psychedelic thing here? If I can find it, there it is. Here it is. What are your expectations on the? Here, I just want to say. Uplifting, that's nice. It's uplisting, but I like the uplifting part because of MindMed. So if that was done on purpose, touche, that's a good one there. What's my expectations? Honestly, oh crap, I did put down Snap on my list. Don't tell me it broke through 62 as well, and we missed that level. We'll look at Snapchat in a minute, but my expectations for MMEDF, okay, look, we can look at a chart of this one. Again, we were close to, I talked about it today, we had 450 on board, we talked about getting long at 350 on Friday night, and I loved getting long at 350 on Friday night, right? We talked about that. My only worry was that your shares would get locked up because I wasn't sure if we were still going to list today on the pink sheet, so that's obviously happening. So congratulations, anybody that held their trade. We talked about going long 350 as a swing trade. So today, congratulations, that's a big win. You're up that 30% overnight, so that's a good one. But for the uplifting / uplisting, I don't know. I mean, why would we break the high? Like this is on, similar. When you're a micro cap like these guys, and maybe they've exceeded micro cap at this point, but when you're a small cap stock, you get lifted on news, right? And I'm talking about the stock price, not the uplist. That's the news story. That's the only news story that we could find was the uplisting. But if you did want to hear more about MindMed and what they're looking to do, tomorrow is the best time because before the market opens, I don't think we have a graphic yet for that, but before the market opens, which we should have, we have J.R. Ron and Kevin O'Leary coming through. So both guys, talk MindMed. J.R. Ron, obviously the CEO, and I think maybe now Sol. I think that might have been a shared spot. We'll talk about that tomorrow as well. But J.R. Ron still all over this company. So 507, that's the high. We'll see if it takes it out. They tried $5 today. You can see here, I've been long this name all day. Long. We've left it a little bit now as it gets sleepy, but long-winded. I think that you have to kind of, unfortunately, don't tell them this, but sell the news a little bit. If you have profits from the last couple of days, like this is a double, more than a double, guys, on MindMed. So if you're up here, we've been up here before, nothing wrong, taking out 25%, taking out 30%, something, you judge your own sort of back and forth with risk. But in my opinion, that's a monster move on MindMed. I'm long this name. And I'll probably take some off in the afternoon. What's up, Brendo?
One we were looking at on Friday, guys, big, and I mean huge reversal off of some levels we saw on AXP on Friday, if you remember. Earnings, I believe were pre-market on Friday, if I remember correctly. It was down significantly, though. Like, we got all the way down here to 140 and change. It's at 150 today on a couple of upgrades for American Express, 4% today.
Good for American Express. Certainly, definitely a good look. I want to come back to another name that you mentioned here, and that's at Laser, testing a double top here, 25.55 or so. Very, very strong move. I was kind of looking at that. You get that story also from Airbus, and a little bit of weakness in Boeing as it might roll over. But front of the mind is going to be Laser trying to break through at this particular time, make a fresh high. So I'm looking at that 55 break. I did just take that ZOM at 99.7 and change in front of a 10 even. So as much as we don't always try to overtrade this particular time of day, I actually just missed the punch. Did not just get the shares there. I'll pay up. Let's pay a little spread there on LAZR to be able to take this break to the upside. But I also have to watch out short in front of ZOM at $1. My price is like 99.7. It's going to round up here. That's just one of those things. But if it moves like that 1.5% to the upside, to the downside on ZOM, I'm always considering taking profit out once it hits that like 98.5 mark, 97.5, 96.5, all the way into VWAP. That's the name of the game when I take these in front of a buck. So it's not a tremendously gigantic level. It's only 20 million shares in volume, but it already failed once at $1. If it fails the second time, I think a VWAP or trace is certainly a reasonable target.
Yep. I mean, 1.5%, I mean, you do that 10 times, you're laughing. So that's good, man. And again, you know, trade what you guys see. Here's MindMed again, still up on board. The only other name, we have Coinbase and we have OCGN. So, oh, there's Palantir, by the way. Talk about taking a shot through the weeds here on Palantir today. Like, man, did we snipe this one for sure right there. Like, we sat around, pick that one up, and that's a great trade for that. We are also looking forward to hopefully a little bit more profit on OCGN. It's hanging out upside. So we saw the blowout number on Friday as far as, you know, FDA and whatnot coming through there. This is just another COVID play, but we are noticing that there's consolidation at 13. So that's sort of where I'm looking to get out of OCGN, right? Big winner, big reward here. Let's see if it can go. OCGN still looking for movement, but 136 million shares, man. I mean, this thing could easily retrace back. There's a lot of eyeballs looking at this, so be very, very careful with OCGN as the afternoon goes. And then Coinbase, man, I mean, it's still doing nothing. It goes down to 300, should have averaged in. Let's see if it takes out this top of 303.50. I believe it does. Let's see what Brendan's got for us.
Uh-oh. Whatever. I'm not even gonna mess around. I mean, Tesla was basically trying to test the bottom end here, and this is where we got the reload. So, you know, this is the time of day. I can basically get out, break even. Apparently, with mic issues, it was three Democratic U.S. senators introduced legislation seeking to mandate
No mic?
driver monitoring systems to address driver assistance technology.
They didn't hear me.
That was the story that Brendan just mentioned. I'm not sure if you guys got it there, but just want to make sure that you guys got that.
They can't hear. They can't hear Neil either.
Downside, but certainly it was already heading downside. It was, you get this little wedge forming. I don't want it to break on me, not at lunchtime. If I can take the rest off flat, why not? This is exactly where I reloaded.
Okay, it looks like it's working now, guys. We gotta watch out for that, guys. Okay, so yeah, sorry about that. Hopefully that does not happen again. Coin right now taking to the upside there. I don't know. I didn't even hear what Neil said either. I was too busy trying to get this fixed out. So, all right. So that's that look right there. 202.32 right now on Coinbase. We can go back to Neil, but he was just basically, Brendan was talking about the news there. Let's go back. Brendan, do you want to talk about that Tesla story just because?
Yeah, just
maybe
give
Sure,
the news.
yes. If we can, guys, let's have a look. I'll just show you the headline here. It's easier to see. 3 Democratic U.S. senators take 2. 3 U.S. senators or Democratic senators seeking to mandate driver monitoring systems to address driverless vehicles. So just saying, have a look at Tesla, some of the EVs, guys.
Third time is a charm. There you go. Look, like if this breaking news, we're going to make sure you guys hear it. So thank you guys for letting us know what was going on there. Laser, that's a slow breakout. Whatever. The stock's up 15, 16%. If you're going to get a break at this time of day, it might be a slow mover. I talked about ZOM there, and it's a trade that you've seen me make in the past. And again, I go back to the well with it. Where I run into trouble doing this is short off a buck, and then it's chasing it down here to like 98.5, right? And then giving up that 1.5%, which is just kind of ludicrous when it comes to risk to reward, because VWAP is only giving you like 4 pennies. Or yeah, Luda. Wonder what he's up to. I wonder what's going on. You know, okay, first of all, I have to
making an NFT or something.
Hopefully he's not in this this Fast 9 movie, because all I saw a flying car, and like the second a car is like flying or they're getting pulled by an airplane, those guys have lost me, man. Like, I don't know, action films. Maybe I'm just getting old that I can't accept these, but my wife showed me a still photo of Fast 9, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. The car is getting pulled by an airplane. Like, what is even going on with those? Anyways, ZOM off a buck. This is starting to work down halfway towards VWAP. Got to take my profit off there. So I don't even know where I got Fast 9 from, but it's on my brain, and now I can't get out of there. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, no, it's been a wild day. Only 3 or 4 minutes left to go. Thank you so much for joining us today. We didn't touch much on DraftKings. We didn't touch much. Oh, that's what I wanted to do, is look at Snapchat here quickly. Today we talked about 62 level. I really hope that, okay, I was going to say, hopefully that didn't burn through. It didn't. Snapchat to the downside. They already reported, and it was a huge report, but they failed. Like, they got going here. I remember that day. That was Friday, right? Or was it Thursday? No, it was Friday. Big day. I was like, oh my God, if they get to 64, they're going to blow this thing out. But it does does, and it gets to 63.20, and then now look today. So we got to start. It's failed. It's back testing 50-period moving average, and now going to the low side. So you have to be very, very careful with 58 here, guys. I mean, that's going to be a big level for Snapchat. I just want to bring that to everyone's attention because this stock, again, I like the long. Like, I really love the long down here, 52, 53, heading into that earnings. But we get them, they try to break it, and then it comes right back to the downside. So if anything happens to Facebook this week, I am very, very nervous about Snapchat. I did see, though, Brendan, that Google there, my largest holding, and why not? Up 30% this year. Apparently, Univision picked Google, this is 20 minutes ago, over a $1 billion cloud contract for Google. So it's funny because the revenues are, X. But the point is here, Google just continues. This is the daily chart for Google. You see a big, big bump up here. Don't know why. Okay, I was going to say, here it is from the beginning of the year. 1,700. This is what we're talking about. You're going to get a lot of these FANG names that don't have this kind of look from January. Like, can you believe that you could have had this name, $1,800 back in January? This is why this is now the #1 holding in my portfolio, and it's not going anywhere. I'm never selling these shares, just straight to the upside. I remember buying it first at 600, and I thought I was nuts doing that, but Google continues to pay dividends, and they don't pay a dividend. If they do, it's really small. What's up, Brendo?
All right, lots to look at here, guys, as far as earnings for tonight and before the open tomorrow. Make sure you come back at 3:15 this afternoon. Join us again this afternoon as we'll go through a lot of these names heading into earnings at the bell tonight. I double-checked, guys, for Tesla. Go ahead, guys. We can throw it up there. Tesla 410. I see 410, but that usually ends up being, Elon Musk 420 or even later 430 for Tesla. But there's lots on there.
Yeah, there's companies that are like routinely the same time you get the report after market, and then there's others that it'll vary a little bit. Look, it's not just Tesla. I mean, you're going to see Eli Lilly. You're going to see General Electric. I love Eli Lilly. Healthcare has definitely been. I should say it's a very value-based right now, and I think there's a couple of companies you can probably pick up there. I noticed JetBlue, but I start right in the middle of it. It's like GE, Tesla, and Eli Lilly that I'm concerned the most about going into tomorrow, Sean.
Yeah, Raytheon could be a good one. But yeah, Eli Lilly, like, let's just go, Google. Like, let's go.
Come on,
if you don't have fun investing or trading, guys, at least start to invest and pick up some new technology there. Google is super great stock there. I think that they're going to report huge numbers. And then watch what happens when Google splits, guys. You heard that here first. Google split. Okay, watch out, Eli Lilly here. Again, I like the name, but it's really been I don't want to say it because we don't want to get demonetized, but it's been a dumpster fire lately here. Not really too much movement. It's nice though. Like, if you had it at 165 and it went up to 215 and change, it's a nice name. But Eli Lilly right now, I just want to see what happens. Obviously, it comes and goes with success of some of their drugs, and these big pharmas are huge companies. So Eli Lilly, Pfizer, Merck, things like that, J&J. Although if J&J has the vaccine headwinds, appears like, that's the thing. Like, I'm a big investor in J&J, and I like that better than Eli Lilly. But to diversify, maybe something there. I just watch out below, guys. If Eli Lilly misses, man, this 180, which isn't even that far away, you could be down to 140 very, very quickly. So Eli Lilly, I like the name, but I think there's better names, including my friend Bristol Myers. So if you want to get into something there, shout out to Jim Cramer on some Bristol Myers love. But you can see what difference a chart makes here. Bristol Myers basically near its highs. Eli Lilly has work to do. So Eli Lilly more like down here, Bristol Myers upside. So again, a little bit of work to be done there. It's already 11:30. What kind of a day is it? Do we have that yet? Yeah, we did earnings.
Hey guys, I think it was a pretty good start of the week. Please come back at 3:15 p.m. Eastern Time to trade the close together and sum up this trading day. And happy National Pretzel Day, everyone.
Pretzels?
Pretzels?
Pronounce.
You say pretzels? There we go. Do we have that view there?
I don't know. I mean,
okay, nope. That's good. Yeah. Okay. So
you know what happy day it is, Sean? It's National Chocolate. You'll never see this where like all these guys eat everything but the chocolate Timbits. They're easily the best, and I thank you so much for having the best team in the world that allows me to eat my favorite. So it is what it is. It is National Pretzel Day. There is one. Pinterest moved their earnings to tomorrow. So we have to watch out for them as well. So Pinterest is reporting tomorrow on Tuesday. So I know that wasn't on the board. Another interesting name there. It's been a fun show, and we are right back at 3:15. So please do not forget, it is the fastest 45 minutes, as Sean always mentions, and it is 100% true. With Tesla earnings after the market, I do expect it is going to be a great show. Do not miss out on it, especially if you want to know what's moving and then get an idea of how we're looking at it. Tune in, and we'll be right back. Down the line, thank you, Miss V, as always. Sean in the salmon shirt, good look, my friend. And for Brennan Wickens, there you go, reeling it all in. What do you got?
Is real quick, pins aftermarket tomorrow. So,
okay, yeah.
But
they've moved earnings, I know.
We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. I know Tyrone was talking about it in the chat. I was just like, yeah, wanted to put my thoughts in. Anyways, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you are in the world, this is Trader TV Live. We'll see you at the close.
Bye, guys.